leave country.
Yeah,
I'm not leaving.
So don't screw it up.
I'm not leaving my fucking hotel.
Yeah, get laid when you get home, because trust me, that will not stop for hours.
Well, he does have the kids at home, so...
Oh, no.
Hopefully
There's
the babysitter.
No, when you're coming back from being deployed, there's babysitters, man. Get laid.
So I land at like 7:30 on a Tuesday night up in Denver.
Wife and the kids are going to come tarmac, man, just to go at it.
Well, the kids are going to come up with me and pick me up. They'll go to bed, and then the next day they'll go to school. And we'll have an empty house.
I still say babysitters because, trust me, you're going to be laying next to your wife and, things are going to get freaky.
That's what doors and locks are for.
You do have a point there.
17
really?
more days. 17 more days.
That's interesting. I just got removed from Simon Dan's Discord server.
Okay.
Really?
Because apparently, I tried to go in there and be the peacekeeper to make sure that Simon Dan's channels stayed family friendly, like, his YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And just asked the people involved to take it to a private thing. And now I've been removed as anything on Simon Dan's server. I was a mod.
Does it say who did it?
Nope, I just have no permissions to access anything in any channel at this point.
Huh.
And I can't even see the user list anymore.
I'm not even on this server.
I don't remember if I am.
Or did the whole channel get deleted?
Why are people so petty?
Oh, I am.
Yeah, I'm still a mod. The channel got deleted.
Oh.
Well, that's one way to get rid of the problem.
Piggy was involved, probably.
No.
No, I think this was actually Robert League III.
Yeah, I'm not touching that issue as of yet.
I don't even know who the dude is.
Leger?
Yeah, he's been on here a couple times. He's a vet.
Yeah,
We'll just walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away, Jared. Walk away.
Yeah. When the time comes. Huh.
Well, he didn't take away my permissions. He just redid the whole freaking channel.
They might be in the middle of fixing stuff.
Could be. So
So
how many people were stuffed on Halloween candy?
Not I.
Not I, because I had other stuff to do and going on.
Yeah. There aren't any kids up here in Camp Casey, so they don't do trick or treat.
No. Yeah, you just raid Walmart first thing in the morning for candy.
Wait, you mean they don't want kids at a base that's right at a potential front line of a conflict? Come on, where's their sense of adventure?
Well, they had that adventure a while back, like 10 years ago, because there's a freaking elementary and high school here and a park and kids' playgrounds. And apparently they had families up here for like 6 years and realized that was a bad idea.
Oh, come on.
After they spent the money on the facilities.
The DMZ's a good training ground.
It builds character.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I actually bring Snow to the playgrounds because that's the perfect fenced-in area to let her run. And there's no kids.
Which she does need the room to run.
Oh, yeah.
He does.
And for clarification of people from what happened on Marvel Girls channel earlier tonight, as of right now, we are not classifying FE Jedi as bitch-made or any derogatory term, because the last time he went radio silent in the manner he has last night and today, he had a heart attack. So there is cause for there to be a legitimate reason why he was unavailable, because he hasn't even spoken with Emma, who was going to be the Flat Earth side host / moderator for the discussion. So some of us are actively trying to do and be better when it comes to how we have discussions, and For the most part, I am going back to my typical behavior, but when it comes to someone like Skidmark, oh no, gloves are off with him.
Yeah, that was fun.
Speaking of, what did I miss when I stepped away to quickly cook a dinner before coming over to this?
I was actually more involved in the chat dealing with P. Mars.
Oh God, what's he doing?
I'm sorry.
Oh no, he saw that I was on Planar Walk, so he can't say anything to me in the comment section because I have him blocked. So he decided to go onto P. Mars's server and start berating me there. Let's go over this. So he actually tagged me on P. Mars services at Sean Hufford is a liar scammer. So I replied, poor Panana Nag, mad because you can't have me porn bombed anymore. He says, no, just stating the fact that you are a liar / hypocrite. Oh, and con artist on YouTube. I said, that's a neat claim, P. Mars. If you weren't a waste of a flesh of a human, I would consider asking you to back that up. But since you're as deplorable as they come, not going to bother. And then he says, well, how many fake lawsuits have you raised money for? Like 7? So I said, evidence for a single lawsuit I've asked for funding for. His response, your YouTube channel is my evidence, laughing my ass off.
So
I said, okay,
nothing.
Then. So I said, oh, it gets good. I said, okay, then support your claim. Which video did I ask for funding for a lawsuit? And his response was, what a fraud you are. So I said, case in point, Patrick, you can't back up your claim because your claim is bogus. So he says, lucky your audience has no long-term memory. Everyone knows I'm right.
Wait, Sean, what do you do with live streams on your channel for the vast majority of them, if not entirety?
No, they're still there.
Huh.
Yeah. But this is why I get to this point, because this is Kiri Mag jumped in at this point and says, P. Mars, you are scum, get the fuck out. P. Mars says, why? Because I expose YouTube scams like Sean Hufford? So she replies, you expose nothing, you are a troll. So I said, I'm giving you the chance to expose me, Patrick. I'm inviting you, all in caps, to expose me to all of Planar Walk's viewers. Link the video I asked for financial support for a lawsuit. And of course, at that point, I advanced to level 1 on a server because I very rarely actually talk on Discord. So then him and Kerry Matt get it back and forth a little bit. And Harry Warp asked him citation needed about his claim. So I said, good luck, Harry. He isn't one that is known for backing up his claims, as evidenced by the last few minutes of this Discord chat. So he says, another Sean Hufford lie. So I copy-pasted, I'm giving you the chance to expose me, Patrick. I'm inviting you to expose me to all the Planar Walk viewers. Link the video I asked for financial support for a lawsuit. And it was... And I just said still waiting because it was like 6 minutes between those two messages. So he says, Sean has a video where he shows his desktop and you can see he has a folder for child porn. So I said, which video and timestamp it? And I followed up with, that's 2 direct accusations. So far, not willing to provide evidence to support them. So he says, I'll send it to the FBI. So I said, send it here. And let many others send it to the FBI, P. Mars. Come on, video and timestamp of one of my videos showing child porn on the desktop. His response, I'm going to get it peer-reviewed first so you guys will have nothing to say about it. You all love to deny facts. I've seen you do it countless times on your channel. So I repeated, send it here and let many others send it to the FBI, P. Mars. Come on, video and timestamp of one of my videos showing child porn on the desktop. Do that and I will turn myself into the FBI. Then I said, let's make it simple, Patrick. Don't send it here for everyone to see and prove to everyone else you're nothing more than a liar. And that's the last time he's ever said anything in the chat.
What is wrong with him?
What's wrong with him?
Everything.
He desires attention more than Pig does, and he wants all the negative attention he can get.
You know, I thought I dealt with fucked up people.
Oh no!
I don't
Welcome to the
understand the
internet.
fucked up people that I deal with.
That is cute, Furball. You thought people were only a certain level of fucked up.
See, I deal with criminally fucked up. This is just psychotically fucked up.
Yes, he is a sociopath.
I work with human resources. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh.
I get at least 10 fucked up people a day, minimum.
Fucked up people or fucked up questions?
Fucked up people.
Okay.
Well, I get fucked up questions, but they're from fucked up people.
So it's just
Oh.
so you're just fucking rounded out. Alright.
I had
Hey,
people
Jay, what are you doing? on the
email me
19th?
with questions as a reply to an email that had the answer to the question they were asking in the first place.
It's like playing email tag like that.
The 19th of November?
Yeah.
I don't know yet. What day of the week is that?
Tuesday.
I will probably be working until 12:15 local time.
I land in Seattle at like 8 a.m. on the Patriot Express flight,
Oh.
and I don't fly out on my next commercial flight until 4:30.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Got a couple
By
hours.
the time I get up there, you'll be getting ready to be at the gate and everything. So wouldn't work
So-
out too well.
And that's with a dog. I'm hoping I can check in to my commercial flight first thing in the morning after I land and go through customs, check in everything but the dog, and then just go sit in the USO. The USO in Seattle is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Now, does your dog have to go through quarantine?
Nope.
Oh.
So, quarantine only applies when you're flying in someplace that doesn't have all the diseases. The United
Oh.
States has all the diseases.
Yeah, the quarantine especially for military pets works on when you're leaving the continental U.S., not when you're coming into it.
Yeah, most quarantines are really effective on islands where they're trying to, again, keep the diseases out. But here in America, we got all the diseases.
Oh, come on in.
And some of them get elected to Congress.
Or higher.
They said
Yeah.
it, not me.
But you're not
Alright.
disagreeing.
No.
Hey, I saw tweets towards a lieutenant colonel today that makes me want to not be in that position.
Oh!
Uh-oh.
No, you guys didn't catch that? Oh,
I wasn't paying attention. I was at work.
oh
Colonel
no,
Goodman.
this is from a couple days ago.
Yeah,
All right, who tweeted it?
POTUS.
Oh, POTUS. Okay. Well, that does. I don't follow that one.
That narrows it down, huh?
I'm just numb to all that at this point in time.
Exactly.
I'm kind of excited going to work protection right now because I know whoever I end up working for is going to get called to testify.
Hey, I just got notified you're live, man.
Only
Yeah,
15 minutes in.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just letting you know I just got the notification.
Damn YouTube.
Gotta love YouTube.
Oh, let's see here.
C4, I wouldn't even call P. Mars a clever troll.
No, he's like a spaghetti on the wall troll.
Yeah, let me put this in perspective, C4. You know how I called out Rez? P. Mars isn't even worth that much effort because P. Mars hasn't tried to be friends with everybody and then stab them in the back. He's just always been just I'm going to say he's been a misappropriated sperm donation.
So question.
So-
When the everything went down with Fight the Flat Earth earlier in the year, I got a little pissed off and I sent him a message saying that I was going to turn him into the FBI, and then I changed my mind and deleted the message on Discord. So a couple months ago, he popped into one of my chats and called me a liar because I said I was going to turn him into the FBI, but I didn't. So make sure you use that next time you talk to him, Sean, because he did the exact same thing.
Now, see, I normally don't have any interaction with him at all, but he found a way to call me out, and he didn't apparently like that too much.
Yeah, he doesn't like being corrected. I mean, every time he has raged against me, it's because I've called him out for being functionally or factually wrong about a subject.
Well, here's P. Mars's hate boner for me came from the fact that he tried to bring up a source that says that Robotham was a Mason and a Knight. So I looked, and had all these Masonic symbols on his gravestone. It's talking about him being a knight on his gravestone. So I looked up his gravestone, and it had none of that.
We
and
both
Pete Mars
did.
His shit.
Yeah, we both pulled up the images and were like, what?
And so, I didn't fault him for the bad information. I faulted his source of the information. And he lost his shit on me. And he's had a hate boner for me ever since, because, he went to his troll Discord at that time, gave out the join link for the hangout so other people can come in and porn bomb my stream.
And then, of course, went somewhere, said, oh, yeah, I did it. No, wait, I gave the link so someone else could do it. Yeah, that's still an accessory. You're just as guilty.
Yeah, if I hand some stranger a gun and he goes off and murders somebody, am I free and clear of that? No.
No, let's be more accurate in the comparison. If you took a loaded handgun, handed it to someone you didn't know, and said, shoot that guy, and they do, you are just as guilty as the person who pulled the trigger.
Exactly, and that's where P. Mars falls into that whole situation, if his story about giving the link out is true.
Yeah.
Which I'm thinking it's not, for the simple fact that it was the person that joined in to porn bomb was actually a fake George Natnook account. So yeah, I still kind of think it was P. Mars directly porn bombing. But giving him the benefit of the doubt, he's actually been publicly saying that he just gave it to somebody to porn bomb me.
Yeah, but at the same time, you repeat a lie long enough, doesn't it become your own personal truth at that point?
For some people, yeah.
So how quickly would I blow my brains out if I applied for a job and got it at the Internal Revenue Service?
Well, I would say don't blow your brain out until after you investigated FE Corp.
Well, I wouldn't be that type of person. I would be.
Oh, then.
Oh no! Wait till you hear the title of this position, because it's actually what I'm going to school for. But public affairs specialist.
Oh, wow!
Okay, that sounds like a lot of cuckery about to happen in public places.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you're pretty much gonna have to get used to telling people, "I told you, don't fucking say that."
Pretty much. Although the pay would be kind of worth it. Although
Would
I'm probably not qualified. So. It's GS13. So.
The IRS isn't bad.
No. Okay. So the functional framework of the IRS isn't bad. The people operating it are fucking retarded. But isn't that true for so many bureaucracies? On paper, it looks like it should work great, but in practice, once you put the human element into it...
On paperwork, everything in the government looks great.
Well, isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
Systems are fine. The people are fucked.
And that coming from an HR specialist just proves the point. Otherwise, why would an HR department need to be a thing?
Yeah, well, you got HR, you got public relations. Yeah,
so
those are kind of needed to make people look good.
So basically what you're saying is people are fucked up and we should kill all humans.
Pretty close.
I think we should take the Thanos route.
Oh, okay, Bender.
See, I was wondering who was going to get the reference.
Hey guys, I only got a week left here at Casey.
Yeah, I know. I keep forgetting to get on, do those screenshots.
Hey, I'm gonna go to breakfast here in a little bit. When I'm done, if you guys are still on and we're not on air, we can go drive around a bit.
Ooh, what?
I'd take a while to get to Korea, man.
I
I
think,
can drive around.
I think he's
I thought
off.
they were kind of. It used to be back in the day in Korea, they kind of frown upon driving around and filming Casey with the camera.
Well, there's a lot. Most public places and every taxi on post also has dash cams now.
Oh, okay. No, just when I was there, I got chewed out one time for having a videotaping driving from Hobie to Casey and going down by Gate 1. Not filming Gate 1, but hitting. I was like right next to the post office, and then the the taxi got pulled over by some dude. It turned out to be a sergeant major, and he's chewed me out for filming. But I'll just take some screenshots. I still need to get on Google Maps and take screenshots and make circles and stuff.
Yeah, just let me know where everything's really old here.
Well, everything was really old. When I went, my first tour there in 98, 99, I lived in a fucking Quonset hut that was, the outside insulation was 2 feet thick, and the rats decided to fucking make homes in there like tunnels. So during the winter, you can hear fucking rats going back into the foam insulation outside.
So what you're saying is it's like every other army base?
No, Korea, it still has fucking Quonset huts and shit, and normal military posts like Fort Lewis, places like that, it's pretty much all modern shit, except for when I went to PLDC in 97, and 97, which is when you become an NCO. Our barracks were in World War II barracks that were on North Fort of Fort Lewis.
Oh, North Fort's shit.
What, of Lewis?
Yeah.
I guess now, I haven't been there in a while, but I guess now it's really fucking built up, and I guess they improved a lot of shit. But my first tour.
This was in 06. I spent a month on North Fort getting ready to deploy, and the buildings up there were just absolute shit. They were World War II style.
Yeah, North Fort has changed, and now it's all fucking. If you look on Google Maps, pretty much all that old shit is gone. The only old shit that's still on North Fort is where the fucking ROTC cadets fucking do their thing. That's the only old shit that's still up there. Everything else is brand fucking new. But my first tour at Lewis and in 96 to 98, it was North Fort was just the end of a fucking two-lane road that you went back there, and the only thing back there was ROTC and National Guard shit. But now I guess fucking with Fort Lewis expanding and all that jazz, it got modernized.
Yeah, you can blame the Air Force for that one.
Yep.
Yeah, back then, the Lewis and McCord shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when my second time there, or yeah, my fucking first time. If I want to go to McCord, I would go out to call the Lincoln Gate, which is over by not Madigan, but now it's called Logistics Gate. But I would take my bike out there. This is back when before 9/11, but there was a gate shack there, but there was just the two metal pipes across the road to keep cars, but you can walk right underneath of that. I used to walk across underneath that fucking gate, go across the road, go through the woods, and jump over the fucking fence of McCord and ride my bike into McCord to go to Burger King. It never got stopped.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the sub base in Groton had a lot better perimeter security in that aspect.
I can't imagine
I told
why.
you that in 2000, when I was in Hawaii, I walked on Pearl Harbor with a backpack and got a tour of a sub with no ID checks.
I rode my bike all the way up to a C-17 on the flight line in McCord, jumping, doing the same fucking thing. I went to Burger King, got my food, ate, and then just to burn off some calories, I rode my ass down to the flight line and rode right up to a C-17 and started bullshitting with a major. Nothing stopped me. But now you go down that way, that fucking gate's all... It's got I guess now it has a fucking bridge that takes you over to McCord. That's the back way to go into the Fort Lewis way to go into McCord. It's all... But in 2006, I was at Lewis, and I was living over by the Ranger Bat. That's where our 80A battery was stuck over by.
Gotta remember, as far back as I can remember going onto the base in Groton, which was late 80s, there was a distinct and very controlled barrier, even just on base between what was called the upper and lower base. And yeah, the upper base could get around pretty much anywhere I wanted, but you even look at going to the lower base the wrong way, there was someone right in your face. And that was back in the early 90s.
Yeah, that's the way it is kind of now when I go to Lemoore. You want to go to the edge with the flight line when you got the main post, and then when you got to go to, if you want to go check out the flight line area, they look at you kind of crazy if you're going to that fucking gate and you don't have a actual fucking cat card anymore.
It was like that at Norfolk too, because I mean you could get on base fairly easy back in the 90s, but the piers, each of the DNS piers had their own checkpoints. So.
Yeah, that's how when we were doing the C-round training, we had to go to Dam Neck to do some more hands-on shit down there at Dam Neck proper, and to go over to Norfolk to get up on the aircraft carriers and stuff to actually work on the mounts on a ship to learn how you Navy guys did with it. It was
the
Dam Neck. Yeah, Dam Neck was Dam Neck was fucking pretty much fucking locked down, especially if you fucking went to the gate and you took that road to the left that took you over to the SEAL side of the house. That shit was fucking locked down bigger than shit. But going to Norfolk, it was fucking. We took a 15-pack van in there, and only the driver had to show his fucking ID card, and everybody else in the back had their cars out, and the gate guard didn't even fucking check anybody. Didn't even check the vehicle. We drove all the way up to the, I think it was the Roosevelt that was in port at the time once we got on to do hands-on training with the mounts on the ships.
When was that?
2005 or 6.
No.
Yeah. Sounds about right, because that's actually when a guy that I worked with in Florida transitioned from working standard aviation support to actually being one of the Navy techs for that joint program. And then he ended up getting out and going into the Army Reserves.
We had, we had 2 E5s. I can't remember the actual, what you guys call them, what the petty officer side of the house is. But we had 2 E5s, 3 E6s, and 2 Chiefs that were assigned to our battery at Fort Lewis for training up on the Sea Whiz and stuff like that. That followed us basically through the whole course, and then followed us up to Iraq to do we brought the mounts in to do the installation procedures and stuff like that for, how to work that shit. But working on the ships, doing like at Norfolk, because we were there for 2 months doing shit on the ships. The Navy guys always gave us fucking dirty looks because we would go on there on the DCUs, the Army, the desert uniform, but we didn't walk around with 8-pointers. We walked around with the BDU cap. So every time we walked there, we always get these goofy looks because we didn't have the 8-pointers.
Well, yeah, because initially when we see camo in port, it's a Marine a detachment, and then the Marines always wear the 8-point cover, and that's where when you see the camo with a camo cover that's not 8-point, most people don't realize, wait a minute, what's the Air Force or Army doing here?
Well, the thing is, the Navy guys that were with us, they got the DCUs, but they got the 8-pointers. Yep. And they were walking on the DC uniforms like we were, but we had the BDU caps, or not the BDU, but the desert camouflage uniform hats. And the Navy guys had the desert 8-pointers. And they actually had to get that shit by going down to having the chief go down to the SEAL team at Dam Neck to fucking scrounge up what the fucking supply dude to get shit. Their side wasn't going to give them anything. They're like, the Navy's just going to give you blue shit, and our commander's like, oh, hell no, you guys ain't walk around blue fucking uniforms out there. You're going to get you the fucking tops and bottoms, but you got to get your own fucking headgear, because you can't wear the Army shit. So they're like, well, we don't have anything. And the chief's like, I guess we're going to have to I'm going to go down to the supply dude at the fucking SEAL team and get some shit. So he went down there, and I guess he traded in like a couple Leathermans that got like fucking 8 hats for everybody.
When I pinned CW3 a couple months ago, the dress uniform, the shoulder boards, they're $40, by the way, and they're specific to your branch, so MP branch, I'm literally the only MP CW3 in the lower half of Korea. They don't have that at the clothing and sales. Not just food.
Aw, you had to order it?
Yes, I do.
It's a good thing you don't have. It's a good thing you don't have in-ranch inspections.
I'm the one that calls those inspections, and yeah, they don't happen.
There was a call in chat, and even you were guilty of it.
Oh, I know.
Lenny! Where are you
Hey,
at, Lenny?
Hey, BM, are you working with the IG down there at Humphreys at any time?
Not at Humphreys.
I got a buddy of mine at E7 who went down there, and he's an IG at the Humphreys.
I've worked with the Humphreys in Daegu a couple times. They brought us some cases, but I've never done it at Humphreys.
Okay. Yeah, the farthest.
17 days to get out of this fucking country.
Don't please. Have you ordered fucking like shit from Odyssey? We call them Speedy. They come around on their fucking little motorbikes and give you stuff, food. Well, there was this one on Hovey. I don't know if they still do it or not, but there was a Korean teenager, I guess. Maybe you call him like 18, 19, 16 years old, one of those kind of ages. But we called him Speedy because he had this little moped that from the little Korean cantina Katusta thing. You can order rice.
Snack bar?
Yeah, Korean snack bar. You can order like bulgogi and rice and all that shit. And so it was fucking great because if you had CQ, you just fucking order food, and here comes Speedy, and usually the runner would be like, "Hey, Speedy's down here, Sergeant. You want to go get he's here, so he's need the money." But anyways, his name was Speedy. But I'm trying to remember where I was going. Oh hell, yeah, we didn't have that in fucking Area 1. But
there you go, Marvel. Marvel wasn't calling for snow.
But I'm trying to remember where I was fucking going with this whole thing. It distracted me. Oh shit. Yeah, what were we talking about?
I gotta take off. I'm gonna go have breakfast with my detachment sergeant. When we're done, I'll see if you guys are still online.
Okay.
Have a good one, BM.
Later, guys.
Later.
All right.
This came from one of the members of the channel, actually. LRJ88 sent this over, and I was like, oh, gotta show this right away.
I also preloaded text memes that he shared as well.
Nice.
Oh, this one was Lord Burns, actually.
Yeah, so... Burns, was my response to this incorrect in any way?
Hang on, I'm not sure if I posted this one. Let me take a look.
Or was it Furball that posted it?
It might have been Furball. I know this meme picture, but I didn't post this particular one.
It was Furball.
Yeah, it was Furball. So, from my thought, okay. So for those who can't read it, you have a argument between the senior leadership and pretty much a regular grunt saying you're going to go to the services ball, the birthday fancy dinner celebration. Junior guy, like me most of the time, I'm not going. Well, so senior leadership says, oh, well, you're going to be a part of this detail that has to be there, so you're going. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're working a detail during one of those, aren't you there for work so you don't have to pay?
Well, you're there working the whole time, so it doesn't matter.
Well, no, that's what I mean is if you're there as part of a detail and you're working the event, there's no requirement for you to pay for a ticket to be there as just a regular party goer.
No, unless they wanted food, then that was all. This is what I did for my soldiers. If I had a fucking detail, or for example, like we had a regimental ball, or being an air defender, you're part of the artillery, so you got to do the St. Barbara's Day shit, St. Barbara's balls and whatnot. So if, like for my platoon, I was like, okay, the first time I would say, okay, this is what's going on. I need this many bodies. So I go to my platoon, have information. Okay, who wants to go to the ball? I get like 3 hands up. Okay, and I would say something to the effect of, okay, whoever doesn't raise their hand are gonna get fucking voluntold to go, and you guys will be doing stuff like picking up trash and whatnot in your Class A's. So it'd behoove of you to be part of this. Still no hands go up. So I just start picking, you and you are now all part of this detail. And like, well, I want, what are we gonna do about chow and stuff, Sergeant? Said, here's your option. I'm gonna bring a case of MREs, or you can buy your food buy a ticket and get your food. Your choice. That was the game I played.
Well, that's one way to do it, and yeah, the couple bases I was at that actually did something for the Navy ball, we actually didn't even do a detail about it. It was literally a reason to get drunk, be rowdy, and enjoy good food.
Yeah, the food was good, but the thing is, though, in the Army, I'm not sure. It's probably the same way with the Navy. They want numbers at these balls, so they want to fill tables. They just don't want to have a whole bunch of people who don't. You got people who want to be there, but then you got the single soldiers who just don't have dates and stuff, and they just want to go out and doing whatever the hell they want to do. So because I remember the days when I was a private, so I just kind of used the same tactics that was used on me. That I'm gonna have to be going anyways. I'm gonna have to be doing this stuff in my Class A's, and I really don't want to be eating MREs at a ball in the back rooms somewhere. So it'd be just better to me to pay $5 based on whatever your rank was. If you're an E5 or an E2, I think it was like $3-4. Well, this is a long time ago. $3-4, and then it kind of went up from there. Especially having a spouse. But I gave them the option. You're going to be there anyways because you're a soldier. You got an ID card. There's no such thing as you're off work. You're always on duty regardless. But if you want to eat, you got the option of the MRE box in the back room, or you go out there and you give your ticket and you get your steak or your chicken or whatever they got serving for that night. So that was the game I played.
Yeah, see, for us, there were so many of the mid E5 and aboves who were playing the political game that they never had to push for numbers at the commands I was at. But keep in mind, in Jacksonville, we were the largest command by personnel numbers. The only command that came close in Jacksonville was the training squadron for the then P3s, now P8s, which was VP 62, if I remember correctly. The Pro's Nest. For a while there was actually a competition between our manning, between them and the intermediate maintenance detachment that I was a part of, for who was actually the largest command on the base. We outnumbered the base personnel almost 3-1.
Yeah, on pretty much my entire for example, like in Germany, we had the air defense ball in Germany. Our concern, our base, was nothing but my battalion, my air defense battalion, and a company of mechanics and a company of MI dudes who worked over at the skiff that was way off post. So everything inside the fence belonged to the air defense unit. The highest ranking person was our lieutenant colonel. So when it came time for the air defense ball, it was gonna be numbers, and your people are gonna be there.
Oh, hang on. I gotta send this over. Jay, you have to show this one. This came from a viewer. This is a screenshot of the advertisement they got on my channel.
All right.
The fuck?
I'm not sure if this says more about my channel or about your viewing habits.
What are your viewing habits?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Was this an ad you got, Jared?
No, one of the viewers on my channel, on a video on this channel.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah,
is this what you're pandering to, Jared?
Jared's always pandering to something.
Somebody's fucking lonely. That kind of backfired on you, didn't it? Huh? You're like, I shouldn't have said that shit.
Probably not. Oh, and then of course, very appropriately, you Wish joined.
Well, I've been here for the
Right
last.
when we're talking about
10
a
minutes.
MILF dating app.
Well, he needs to take turns and
You
find
know,
someone
look,
who can
look,
take it
you know,
easy
I mean-
on him.
Okay, all right. Now, look, I realize I'm probably second oldest, if not oldest, on this panel. But you don't have to talk about my wife like that. I'm pretty sure she wouldn't appreciate you saying that.
I'm not saying a fucking thing.
Wow.
That's a
I don't want to
first.
get in trouble. I'm trying to be nice these days on the internet.
Oh, come on, guys. Who's ever nice on the internet these days?
Guy's just trying to be. He's trying to turn over a new leaf.
Yeah, just wait until we point out how Skidmark has been requiring the drill sergeant treatment again. Trying to say that it doesn't matter if someone has been a viewer and has seen his poor behavior. He thinks that just because they've never spoken before, that doesn't matter.
That fucking clown. I don't understand why you guys think he's fucking relevant anymore. He's not.
I just went into Planner Walks to see if he would run away, and oh boy, did he get butthurt when I piped up.
Oh yeah, it was an ambush all of a sudden for an open debate. I love that.
Oh yeah, I put it out there. It's on. Hey, try thinking. I'm here, motherfucker. Where are you? End conversation.
Speaking of, I've only seen a little bit of that whole thing. What is the deal there? Like, what is the overview of that bullshit?
The overview is he's a fucking retard who doesn't understand the fucking flat doesn't mean level. But he's got this very strict definition that level means flat, flat means straight, straight means horizontal, all that jippy jazz. But when you show him a picture of a globe with the bar, the bar for a globe, so the spin, and you show him a picture and it's the bar is fucking level to the surface of the globe. He doesn't quite understand that shit. And then he says there's no such thing as a straight line on a fucking globe. So I take my cell phone camera and I take a picture of the equator from the top down, looking at it, and it's fucking straight as a fucking arrow. But somehow that's not fucking straight. So I bring up the whole, why don't you get your fucking your ruler and put it against the fucking line and see if it fucking deviates in any direction. He doesn't want to do it. So he's one of those fucking clowns. He was in a conversation, and I was in the conversation. He was talking to somebody. He goes, "You want to chat?" So as soon as he fucking posted, I go, "Sure, I'll be in ET22 Productions fucking thing on Friday." And I did this on the 21st, so that was last Friday. And he never fucking showed up, and he's been fucking hiding from it ever since. And his fucking excuses are, "Well, you never told me what the subject was about. I'm not a veteran, so why do I need to be there?" And I told him, "Well, you need to scroll up to the point where to see what you guys were talking about." And at the very top of the conversation was flat versus level means flat. But he's a whiny bitch. He hides in his fucking Discord, and here we are.
So, like most of them.
Yeah, so I'm here. He's not here. I called his ass out, but I'm just here to be here. But yeah, but he really, really wants people to go into his fucking Discord where it's all about blah 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 objection, and then it fucking turns into that fucking game. So
he's on the 24/7.
Yeah, and he's trying to get Red into it now too. And Red's like, come to my fucking come to my channel. We'll discuss the fucking. You don't know what they're talking about now. I think it's ISS or something like that. But he wants to get people on that 24/7 Discord server really, really fucking bad.
Well, yeah, that's where he wants to become popular.
I know. Wants to.
And to that, I say, hell no.
Nope.
Well, that, and he probably also controls the mute button there.
Going into that fucking Discord would be like fucking going to Earth Discussions 2.0 from fucking a while back. It's the same fucking thing.
I'll just say, I'll just say that Fight the Flat Earth actually went to that 24/7 Discord. It's a freaking absolute joke.
Well, I'm
With
sure
the way-
when it's
With the way that it's just run, it just don't work.
well, yeah, it's run by a fucking bunch of flat earthers who can't have any kind of disagreement, so they got to make it so it's a fucking safe space for flat earthers. That's pretty much what it is, and that's the reason why Homeboy won't fucking get his little bitch ass out, because he knows he's gonna get fucking owned. So.
Jared must have found Skidmark's email address. He's typing away furiously.
No, I'm interacting with the live chat directly because I like most of the people out there.
Yeah, that or
He's probably got a picture of fucking Skidmark over his fucking bed, like a.
At least Jared's not throwing his mouse against the wall.
No, I didn't throw it against the wall. I slammed it on the desk, and it kind of blew up.
Couldn't figure out how to open a crate.
I lost 2 fucking cell phones in the army because I lost my temper.
Oh, Jeremy Mendoza, from what I have heard, it's not just that FTFE is banned from that server. He's still trying to get back on it to get people to interact with on his channel from what I've been told of people who are on that server.
So who wants to have fun with a tank?
Sure. What do we got here? I can barely see it.
So yeah, there's no shells left. It's almost out of gas. Found a bit of bullets. If we take this back...
West is gonna just tell us to booby trap it and leave it there looking like it's still functional.
Man, I so wanted to do something fun with this. Wait, I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
Drop that shit out of the fuck. Yeah.
Do you hear something?
No, wait a second. Can't wait. I have an idea. Show just exactly what Jared was thinking right before he said interesting.
Are you talking to retard?
Oh, the sound clip that keeps on giving.
It sounds like fucking somebody's household 6 is talking.
That was clipped from an Alan Evans live stream as part of an after show where his daughter heard him getting agitated at someone, and so she just pipes up in the background. And the microphone picked it up fantastically.
Oh, that would be household 6 Delta. No, Delta, it wouldn't be Delta, it would be Alpha. Delta is a driver. So, household 6, in the Army, the 6th element of a formation is always a commander. So if you're looking at a bumper number, the number's on the front of a vehicle. If it says 1-6, it'd be like the 1st platoon's commander's vehicle, so it'd be 1-6. If it's a company commander, it'd be like Bravo 6, Charlie 6, or something like that on the bumper number. So, and if you're a 7, if you see a 7 at the end of a number like 27, 17, 7 by itself, that always means the 1st sergeant. So when in the Army, you always have a joke about when people's talking about their wives and stuff, they always say the household 6 because it's the fucking household commander. So you're not going to win.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. And they, especially while it starts while in an active duty, it's one of those, well, I spent the most time here, so yeah, my rules. And you really can't argue that because it really is true, because the amount of time that I spent underway when I was in Japan, that wasn't my house. I just got to sleep there.
It's kind of like in doing the stuff with the firefighting stuff here with Cal Fire. Sometimes I slip back into my Army stuff, and I'll be like, they come and be like, hey, I need information about such and such. And I said, go talk to the 6. He knows what's going on. And I got to remember to catch myself and always mean, I got to say incident commander is who the one is going to get your information from, or go over, talk to those people. But I have sometimes I slip back and I always refer to the incident commander as the 6th element. Especially on the radio, I get chastised sometimes because they'll say, 6, this is, my crew. And be like, who are you talking to? Like, oh, that's right. You don't play the alphabet game here.
I mean, some people knock the alphabet game, but honestly, in situations like that where you're dealing with radio communications, it makes it so much easier.
I know. They have a different lingo. It's just like the cops use different lingo for how their phonetics and stuff like that when they it's on alphabetic stuff like that. It's like atoms of things like that. So you get on the radio and you got to talk to the sheriff. You got to kind of remember you can't use the military phonetics. You got to use the civilian phonetic system, and it kind of hurts the conversation sometimes. But sometimes I get a guy who I know used to be former military, so I just basically put out phonetics and he gets the idea. So. This is my world I live in. But I always catch myself. I always refer to the incident commander as the 6, and his assistant as the 7, which would be normally the first sergeant or the sergeant major. So, bad habits.
So if the commander's the 6 and the 7's the first sergeant,
yeah.
At what point does it, like, who would be in what slots going lower in number? Like the 5, 4, and...
The 5 is always the XO.
Okay.
But the thing is, though, like, when I was platoon sergeant of 2nd Platoon, my bumper number on my track was 27.
Okay.
My platoon leader, his track bumper number was 26. Everybody below, so like, okay, let's go for like a normally Bradley platoon. You got 4 Bradleys plus, you got 4 total Bradleys, or sorry, 5 total Bradleys, and one of those is the platoon leader's vehicle. So the very first, if you put them in, on a line, the first one will be 1-1, 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, and then number 5 will not be 1-5, it'll be 1-6. Because that'll be the platoon leader's vehicle. The platoon sergeant will either have a Humvee or a 113 armored personnel carrier, but his bumper number will be 17. And when you run, some platoons run things differently. So if you had a section and air defense, you run as a section, which means 2 Bradleys. So sometimes it'd be 1-2 and 1-1 and 1-2 would be a section. Or if you had a platoon leader who likes to play the evens game, it'd be 1-1 and 1-3 and 1-2 and 1-4. They would be the sections. So you had those 2 Bradleys operating independently, and then the platoon leader on 1-6 would be doing his own thing, and the platoon sergeant driving around on 1-7 would be doing his own thing with his driver. But that's how it's broken down. But as just a normal crew member, you don't get any kind of special designation. It just means on the radio when you hear a 6, that means you're talking to or you're talking about a officer, and if you hear a 7, you're talking to about a senior non-commissioned officer, which would be E7 and above. So if you hear on the radio and you done screwed up, and then you hear, hey, 1-3, this is Iron 7, you done fucked up, buddy, come see me. If you hear Iron 7 and you're in Germany back in 96, that means you just got your ass chewed on the radio by the division sergeant major. So you're about to go talk to somebody you really, really don't want to fucking talk to. Because he'll drag your entire chain of command in there with you. And he'll drag you're talking about your lieutenant and your commander in there with you. Because you ain't gonna tell him no, because he'll just turn around and say, hey, commanding general, this captain said he ain't gonna come talk to me. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So if you're on the radio and you're in Germany in the mid-90s and you done screwed up and you heard on the radio, hey, like I said, 1-3, this is Iron 7. You need to come talk to me. I'll be at this grid. You're like, oh my God, fuck me. You're just got your ass chewed out by the Division Sergeant Major. So you're about to get, your life's about to get worse. Especially if it's a safety thing, because he's going to drag your entire chain of command down there with him.
Oh yeah, easiest way to get on the radar in a bad way. Play around with the safety rules and either have a violation or a near miss. It's a quick way to have one of those chats. You really, it's not really a chat at that point. It's you shut up and listen because you're gonna fucking get it because exactly that, you done fucked up.
Yeah, it's like in Korea. There's been a couple times we had live fire ranges, and you'll have like a Bradley will shoot out. They call it shooting around out of impact, which means you at range you got looks like triangles on either side. The triangles always point inside, so that's inside your fire. But if you fire outside of the firing lane, they call it firing. You're firing outside of the impact is what they call it. So that round has to be physically chased, especially in Korea or Germany. That round has to be physically chased down to where it impacted and dug up and taken out of there for environmental shit. In Korea, it's bad. In Korea and Germany, it's really bad because they're really all about nature and whatnot. But in Korea, it's really bad. But there's been a couple times I've been on a Bradley range with tanks, and say you're out there and you're being A Bradley, you're behind the vehicle, so you got like 3 tanks in front of you, a couple of Bradleys off to the left and right, and you're following behind that, and you're going down the lanes, and they start engaging their targets, and you're shooting one thing, and you hear it on the radio, ceasefire, ceasefire, ceasefire. Okay, everybody just when you hear it on the radio, everything stops. No matter what you're doing, you just stop. You just stop pulling the triggers. You safety the weapon, but you don't move your turret. You don't move your barrel. You don't do shit. And there's times I've heard on the fucking radio in Korea. This is where they said ceasefire, ceasefire, and then like 5 seconds later, comes across and goes, Apache 17, or sorry, Apache 12. This is India 6. Come up to the tower. Or it's not India 6, Indian 6. Sorry, I got Indian 6 in Korea. In Korea, 2nd Infantry Division is the Indian head patch. If you hear on the radio, come see me, and he follows that shit with, or he proceeds it, or follows it with Indian 6, you're about to go see the division commander, a 2-star general up in the tower. So that's a really bad fucking day. And it's all because like a tank fired out of impact or something like that, the division commander will get involved because he's up there watching and he sees this tracer, or they see the tracer go outside of impact. They get up on the radio, ceasefire, freeze, and then the division commander will usually get up on the radio and say, call him whatever bumper number it is, but you need to get your ass up to the tower, and this is Indian 6. Because Indian 6 means the division commander. And followed by that will be Indian 7, the division sergeant major, who's now wanting to talk to your entire chain of command. So not only you got to be having to go deal with this shit, but now you got to get up on the radio and tell your first sergeant that you have to go with you to go see the division sergeant major and the division commander up in the fucking tower because you done fucked up. We just called that standing on the carpet. So,
yeah, exactly.
Just walk in there, find a nice place in the wall, and stare at it because you're going to be in about there in about an hour getting your ass chewed. And then you get done with that, the sergeant major is going to get on you and chew your ass. And then as you walk out the door, the first sergeant's going to get on your ass. And then if you're unlucky, your battalion sergeant major and battalion commander are around, and you're going to go talk to them. So just the shit falls downhill. But you don't want to hear fucking Indian 6 on the fucking radio calling somebody to the fucking tower. Because if it's not calling you, you just sit back in your fucking track, turn on your driver, tell your driver to start on the heater, and just start cooking MREs because it's going to be a while. Because there will be an investigation of rounds fired out of impact.
But with all that training, when shit hits the fan, that training and that level of attention does kick in and take over.
Yeah, things start to become automatic. There's some things you kind of drop when you're engaging and stuff like that. When you're on engaging on a range, and you got fire commands. You're evaluated on your time, your fire commands, yada yada, proper ammunition for the target, and you get scored on that. But when you start slinging rounds on bad guys, the fire command thing is out the fucking window. You don't give fire commands like, hey, they're behind that fucking wall. Sling a few rounds at it, see what happens. Instead of gunner HE truck 1200, identify driver up fire, ceasefire driver back shift, coax troops 600, driver up fire, all that formal stuff goes out the fucking window really quickly. like with the tow missile and a Bradley, normally the fire command is gunner missile tank. You engage the tank with a fucking tow, but when you're engaging Hodge, you barricade up in a building. You're like, hey, see that open window? Put fucking tube number 1 through it.
Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can scare the mice out.
Well, they'll get in, but you fire that thing through the window. It'll pass the window without exploding. We want to hit the back wall and everything inside their fucking room get liquefied. So. But yeah, you just in the Army you learn kind of quickly the radio call signs, and it's always, when I first came in, it was the 1-1 was always the commander, but they changed the 6 to be the commander because it falls in line with the airborne corps. The 6 is always the 6th man out the door is always the commander or officer or platoon leader. So the Army just picked up as a whole as a standard for everybody that all vehicles that have a bumper number of the 6 or a 1-6 or a 2-6 or 3-6, whoever are the commander. Anything with a 7 will always be the senior. Either be enlisted or will be a first sergeant. So if you see a 7, that means it's a first sergeant or a sergeant major. This is whatever is on the. But that's always on the right bumper number. Sorry, the left bumper number is always the Alpha 1-3. The right bumper number will always be the parent unit. So it'll be like First Armored Division, 5580A, and the opposite bumper number will be the vehicle number, and you always tell who owns it. So in the middle of the night, you're looking for a lieutenant's vehicle. You just look through your APGs, look for anything with a 6, and then you found his vehicle.
Oh, and interesting. So how noticeable are the markings through the NVs in that case?
It's basically, you can find them because it's basically, the Army has a standard. I think it's 2-inch lettering, and it has to be black on a sand background. So it stands out. But that's when you're pretty close. But from a distance, you ain't going to see it unless you got the magnifier on the front of the Navy G. You ain't going to see it. That's when if you're like at Fort Irwin and you're out there in the desert and you got you're as an air defense guy, so you just got like your one track and you're attached to a, they call it, like Delta Troop. It was called Dealer. If you're attached to Dealer Troop, they got all their fucking, their mock-up vehicles. So you're trying to link up with the platoon leader, and it's the middle of the night, and you can see their vehicles, but they're all it's kind of scattered. So usually the trick was A16. This is India 14. Trying to find you. Can you give me a 360? And what 360 means is they point the barrel up in the air and spin around the turret a couple times, and you're looking across, and you see the turret moving around. That's the vehicle you got to go find. That's how we found everybody in the middle of the night without using lights, is have them spin their turret with AVGs because you can just see the turret move.
Interesting. Now, I wonder if you get a bunch of jokers where everyone but the commander or who you're looking for does that.
That does happen too, especially if you work with these guys before, like if you had a previous battle and they call it attachment. If I was attached to them and you got this good rapport with everybody like that, because after the battle, as an air defense guy, you break off and kind of go back to your commander, get more your new orders, and then you get told to go link up with this another unit. Because we don't, as an air defense battery, you don't fight together. You fight as individual units attached to other units. So they'd be like, hey, A1, 1-4, you're going to be working with Assassin with this battle. So I need to go link up with Assassin. They're at this grid. And I've worked, it's like 3 battles before. I work with them, and you got a good rapport. So I'm driving down the road, and it's starting to become dusk, and then I finally get up on top of a hill, or I find their location, but they haven't got their talk set up, so I don't know where their central hub is anymore. And they're like, "Hey, Assassin 6, this is 1-4. I'm linking up with you guys again. Can I get a 360?" And then you look down there in your ABGs, there's like 5 tracks with the turrets spinning around. Because everybody's just trying to screw with you. Like, you're like, ha 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 ha. You know, and I just need to know 1-6 so I can link up. And then you see like 3 turrets spinning around. And then the commander will eventually go, "Okay, everybody stop, I got it." And then he'll just beat his vehicle. So, yes, people do play fucking games.
Well, I got to keep it entertaining sometimes, especially when you're constantly doing those sorts of maneuvers. I can see it getting rather tedious and boring rather quickly.
As the 11th Army Cavalry Regiment of Fort Irwin, the enemy that Fort Irwin uses, every month you're in the field. While some units might go to the field like once every, maybe the field twice a year, as Op 4 as the enemy, you're out in the field every month, and it usually goes. The unit that's going to be there to train shows up, and they call that training week 1. That unit during that first week has what they call equipment. They call it equipment draw. So they draw all their miles, they draw all the vehicles that they need to draw, they draw any equipment they need to draw from the draw yards, and that happens during a week. On that Friday of that week is called Sticks Week. From that Friday to the next Friday, they go out to the field, they play around during the daytime, they go back to Fort Irwin proper. They call it the Cantonment area, where the training unit stays at. Mm-hmm. But they'll go out there during the day, or they go out there for a day and a night, and they go back in. It's back and forth. But us enemy guys are going back and forth every day out to the field also to be their enemy, to have them practice training with. That's 6 lane is for them to practice. So if they want to practice maneuvering, as us enemy, we're trained to maneuver a certain way to replicate the forces that they make, like against Russians or Ukrainians or whoever we might be fighting, the North Koreans. We follow their doctrine. We have their books. So we maneuver that the way how the enemy would. So our forces can see what it looks like on a battlefield without worrying about simulation shit. So that happens during...
So it's a lot like the dissimilar training that the Navy Aviation does, where we have now they are VFC 111 down in Key West, where they'll operate other airframes to give that appearance and performance characteristics and use the tactics that our expected air-to-air enemies would use.
Yeah, and long time ago,
of course, too. We'll if we're playing an enemy sub of a certain class, we will mimic like how they might have to operate. So we might mimic a diesel sub and actually have to surface periodically, or do periscope depth to recharge batteries.
Yeah, we in the Army at Fort Irwin, we replicate the doctrine. So if the Blue Force is there during 6 lanes to train how to maneuver, what a Russian mechanized infantry brigade would look like coming at you. That's what we would replicate. Back in the early 90s and during the 80s, they actually had Soviet equipment that they don't use anymore because the parts but they would have actual real Soviet tanks that they would use at Fort Irwin to replicate Soviet tanks. That way the soldiers on M1s and stuff like that, American tanks, can see what these things look like in thermals and through scopes and whatnot. But since the parts became such a pain in the ass, they just put those in the museums on post or send them off someplace else. So we just got armored personnel carriers that are called Vismods. We have like a BMP on a 113, they call it the duckbill. Looks like it has gives it that sharp point. But anyways, we train on the doctrine of the unit that we're fighting against. We don't use the equipment that their enemy uses. But as during 6 lanes, we do things very formally. So we'll drive certain ways. But that happens for a week. So that happens all that Friday, from Friday through Friday. And the training unit is also there. I mean, the unit that's on post, we're fighting with them also. So we're out in the field also, or sometimes we'll just go out there and stay out there overnight because we know they're going to be coming back out that same area the next morning, and we'll play with them some more. But that was for a week. They come back on Friday, on the last day of sticks. They have Saturday and Sunday to get all their vehicle maintenance and done. So they're stuck there. They're not going home. During those 2 days, they do parts orders. They get parts for the stuff they broke during 6 lanes. And then on either Sunday late night or early Monday morning, they roll out. And they roll out to the box, the maneuver box, for all Fort Irwin. They roll out there for 2 full weeks, 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
They roll out there and set up, and then us up 4 guys, our regiment rolls out also. But they'll be on the very far eastern side of the maneuver box, and we'll be on the very far western side of the maneuver box. And depending on how the scenario is of how the training's supposed to go, so like they're in a country, and they're supposed to be helping the locals defend across, these assholes across the border, which is, us. So, in the middle of the night or early in the morning, we'll attack. So we'll send like 3 mechanized infantry brigades simulated across. When I say simulated, that means we can't. It's only a regiment, so we kind of have to work with the numbers that we have. But we can simulate certain things. But we'll say we'll attack them. We'll go. We'll attack into this country, this make-believe country, and then the Americans are supposed to push us back. But usually, it happens we just surround and kill everybody, and then we get told to stop because we kill too many of the Americans, and we go back to our starting area. And the Americans get all brought back to life. We call reconstituted. We try it all over again because we got the home field advantage. We know all the back ways to get through the passes and through all these goat trails. So we'll come up right behind them, and we'll just wipe out the entire force. So these games happen for 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks, after all the battles are over, 2 weeks is over. So that ends usually on a Friday night. The last battle's on Friday. We call it roll-in on Friday evening. Usually happens really fucking late. But the training force pulls in, and we come in, the Op 4. Then we start going through vehicle washdown, accountability of all sensitive items, blah, 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 blah. And then you're sitting in, doing any paperwork that needs to be taken care of. Then you're usually released about, say, 02, 03 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. So you're given the rest of Saturday off. You're given the rest of Sunday off. You come back, work Monday, and you work Monday, Tuesday, and on Wednesday is a half day. And then you have Thursday, Friday off, and Friday and Saturday and Sunday off, and then the whole process starts over again. That next week, after your 4-day weekend, the new training force comes in, and the whole process starts over again. That's the tempo at Fort Irwin.
Ever have deceptive exercises?
Yep. You have. You mean like
there was time, there'd be a time, for example, at least the Navy with us, where we were playing an enemy sub, and like the entire battle group would get one set of exercise orders, including us. It would outline like basically the basic type of boat we were and stuff like that we were supposed to be playing. But then we would get a separate set of orders, basically to ignore our previous orders and exercise and do something different.
For us, at Fort
You should
Irwin,
not always trust all the intel.
Well, being the enemy at Fort Irwin, we kind of do our own thing. So during the 6 lanes, everything's very formal. They want to train against us, doing they want to practice breaching an obstacle. So we have our own engineer company, our own engineer company at the regiment that will go out there and will build a tank obstacle to specifications that you will expect to see. So like you're fighting the Iraqis or like North Korea or whatever. We will build it to their country specifications, depth, width, landmines, how many anti-tank versus how many anti-personnel, yada yada. That was what we did during 6 lanes. But when it came time to do the force-on-force stuff, we pretty much followed the enemy's doctrine very loosely. So if we came across and we saw the Americans were pretty much doing their textbook thing that they did for us during sticks, we would do the complete opposite. They would think that we'd be attacking straight on. We would just come around them through the passes, and they would get all pissed off. And we have hometown field advantage. We do this stuff every month. So we know every back road, every back trail to get behind the blue fort, the Americans. That way they learn not to be so goddamn predictable. But they would be like, oh, after the battle, you got all these dead American vehicles floating around everywhere like that. You're dead also because you got killed later in the game. So you're sitting there, chilling on the top of your vehicle, out of uniform because we don't care. But they got to wear all their shit because they're in training.
Yeah, they got to be used to what it's actually going to be like in country.
Yeah, because if we play the game of they're going to be gassed, nuclear, biological, chemical warfare.
Oh, they got to they got to put on all the mop gear.
Yeah, but but being the OP4, we don't put that shit on. We just drive around like it's not even a factor for us. Because we can't replicate a regiment with NBC gear, so we just don't even wear it. We don't have to. It's their training, not our training. We just give them instead of them trying to fight simulations on a computer, we give them the human factor they got to play with, which makes things a lot more interesting. Because we would do stuff like if we really wanted to screw with people, say like if you had like a American tank company that was kind of not stuck in a wadi, but kind of hiding out in a wadi, we know exactly where they're at. We would go out there and do barbecues like 5 wadis over, down or upwind from them.
Oh.
So all that barbecue smell and stuff like that, we know it's fucking wafting down at them, and we know they're there, and they know we know they're there, but they think they're trying to be slick and shit. It's not fucking gonna work because we're just gonna be. As soon as the battle starts, we're gonna be rolling up right on fucking top of them. But we have our scouts out too, and we can see them getting all ready and pointing all their shit in our direction, so we're just coming a different direction.
Well, and that's the biggest thing about having that home field advantage of pretty much playing on the opposition's turf is until you get proper scouting and actual intel of the land and what is and is not passable, you're at a major disadvantage like that. So getting them to actually see that, I think, is why that sort of training environment is necessary.
Yeah, it's like I said, instead of it being a simulation on a computer where it's just whatever, throwing in the human part of it of you guys are all set up and we're not going to be just driving into you like that. We're just going to go around the back way. We're just going to come up here on your butt. One of the things that we like to do is attack the Americans early in the morning, late in the evening, during chow hours, or when I think everything's all quiet. But we really like it when it's fucking chow hours. Is what we'll do is we'll throw artillery on them during chow hours, and you'll see nobody fucking react because nobody wants to get out of fucking line for chow. And then here's the observer controls who just come walk up with their god guns and just kill everybody who was out setting getting chow. And then when you get killed, you have to play the fucking the casualty game now because the medics have to go through their training also. So you got to get evac'd and stuff like that. And if you got a guy, when I was an OC, after I getting close to retirement, and I had to start doing OC shit, observer controller. And if I saw some guys, during artillery who didn't seek cover because they wanted to stand in chow lines and do whatever they had to do, I would walk out and give them a Bronco bite, which is a casualty card. And my Bronco bites were always something stupid, like this soldier got hit in the fucking in the groin, and he got hit in the bladder, so he can't stop urinating on himself. So the fucking medics have to put him in a diaper for their training, and that's what I would fucking game. I would tell them, it's like, your guys are there to fucking train. Don't play this fucking game, because if you do, I'm gonna give you a fucking Bronco bite. If I give you a Bronco bite, it's gonna be fucking something stupid. And my favorite one, guys, is you guys got hit in the groin, and you can't stop peeing yourself. So your medics are gonna put a fucking diaper on you. If they don't, it's going to come on the fucking AR, and you don't want their commander hearing about them not playing doing what they're supposed to be doing. Because everybody gets fucking training. The medics get training. The engineers, everybody gets fucking training out of it. So
yeah, it's a total unit training. I mean, whenever we did any of the war games that we'd play, even with other nations when we were out to sea, there were individual training aspects that were for combat systems, that were for air ops. Even those of us in the support roles, we had our roles to play, because when we're at general quarters, when we're in the middle of one of those total ship evaluation periods, we're not strictly stuck to just our workshop. A good portion of us were also part of a repair locker where that team would have its own objectives that it had to deal with. So it really is that same thing of when you are in a training environment like that, every single position in the chain of what makes a cohesive operating fighting unit gets tested in their specific ways and how they deal with the circumstances around it. Like
Yeah, it was. Sorry.
Well, like one of my favorite ones was it Talisman Saber or was it Orange Crush? One of the first couple ones I was a part of on the Kitty Hawk, we took a missile hit 5 frames forward of our shop, which meant that we actually had to stop working for the rest of the environment because our space was at the edge of the damage area, so we ended up all becoming listed as casualties. A few of us only had injuries and they got dragged out to go play other games and be a body somewhere. The rest of us were like, well, you're dead. We don't even see body parts of you guys, so stay out of the way.
Yeah, that's when you have these big exercises at Fort Irwin. Everybody gets involved. Even the training units themselves, they got to deal with, like I said, with the medics, their engineers, their mechanics, the people who work in the who do all the they call them the S1 people, the ones who they're like HR, working in the talk. They get evaluated on their we'll basically attack attack their bases, their wires, their fence line, and we'll get them to react. Man their positions properly, go out there with the proper gear, and we write. We know how they're supposed to do things by Army doctrine. So we basically take a lot of notes about, okay, you guys came out there, but you guys didn't do this, 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 and this. Why? Why was your 50 cals not dug in? Why were they just sitting on top of sandbags? Why is this? Why is that? That's the kind of questions that we ask. That way it gets them thinking, but also kind of puts them on the spot in case, because their commanders might be standing around watching, doing the evaluations. So when they go out to the real world, they know how to put a fucking 50 cal in place and do proper sandbags or overhead cover or foxholes or whatever you got them chasing them down. But even the Air Force gets involved with us at Fort Irwin, especially out of Nellis, out of Vegas. We would have B2s, we would have B1s, we would have everything under the fucking sun up the skies above Fort Irwin doing their thing. And then you would even have the Air Force out there with their drones flying around, getting information, and trying to.
This is wrong, Jared.
But it's the perfect follow-up to the previous one.
Ish.
What is your wisdom? Some reason. I've seen a couple Bradleys in my career fucking go into fucking swimming holes before in Hohenfels in Germany. Because Hohenfels was full of old fucking tank ditches and tank holes and stuff like that they dug up back in the fucking 50s and 60s, and back then nobody cared about environmental shit, so they left these places undone. So I've seen quite a few Bradleys at Hohenfels in Germany would end up in those predicaments with like that fucking tank just disappear. I thought it was just a mud puddle. Yeah, the mud puddle's deeper in your fucking tank.
Now, how would you what is the recommended manner of scouting something like an obstacle like that out?
A tank stuck in the hole?
Well, so you're coming up on something that looks like it's just a mud hole. But,
okay. See if there's any tracks that have gone in there before. Because if you're by yourself, by your little lonesome, I wouldn't drive in it. Unless I've driven into, like in Germany, and you've been there a couple times in Hohenfels, so you kind of know where the fucking holes are. But otherwise, it's kind of like you can kind of tell it's gonna be fucking deep or not just by I wouldn't say how you would say the shore, or how it's kind of like that. It's the only way you can kind of really tell. And most of the time, if you don't know, it's kind of like, well, if it happens, it happens. I got a recovery vehicle, and it's going to get ugly, and everybody's going to make fun of us.
Oh, so throwing in a reservist wouldn't work?
We don't have reservists. When you're active duty, you don't train with the reservists. Reservists and National Guard go out and do their own thing because they're under a different budget than the active duty does. If they're out there playing with us, they got money from somewhere to do it with us because the budget's different. Because the National Guard guys can't get parts for their vehicles through the federal system because they got to go through their state to pay for all their shit. So there's been quite a few times at Fort Irwin that as a CT, we have HEMTs out there, the Army's logistics trucks, big fuel tankers. We have, during the training rotation, we have HEMT fueler trucks sit out there in strategic locations. And they're for CT's use only, to fill up the Humvee, so we don't have to come all the way back to Fort Irwin. Especially if you're 60 miles out there in the middle of the desert, you don't have to drive all the way back to get fuel and turn around all the way back. So you have fuel trucks strategically placed out there. But if you're evaluating, say, like a National Guard unit, and you catch these guys on your fuel truck, it's a big fucking deal because their budget is for them to get fuel from their equipment and their sources and their sources only. So if you see them getting into your shit, it's a big deal, and you're supposed to report that much, much higher up because it's almost like theft.
Yeah, well, yeah, the financial aspect comes into play there.
But then there's always the times that, you got some, especially in the winter, you got some APC or some truck or something like that, and some poor, 3 soldiers who really don't know what they're doing, and it's either their truck running out of fuel and them freezing in their fucking trucks, or being an asshole and fucking calling it in. Most of the time I just give them a chastising, tell them to get fuel and get the fuck out of there. But don't come back again because I'll not write your ass up, but I'll call it in. And you guys have to go deal with fucking whoever you got. Usually it's with the post commander where that kind of thing happens. But if they're out there freezing and they have no choice and their truck's going to run out of fuel, I wouldn't be an asshole to them. I would fucking treat them with respect and dignity. Make sure they're taken care of. But I'm not going to play the game of you're back 3 days later because you ran out of fuel. That's not my problem anymore. You're going to go have a talk with somebody, but you're not going to be here getting fuel.
Yeah, you need proper mission planning at that aspect. And one-time thing is like that. Oh, okay, we can work with you on that. But the repeated time is like, wait a minute, it brings into question other parts of their planning and training scheme if it actually is effective, which is the purpose of being there.
Well, it takes into effect, their logistics is what the thing is. If they're not getting fuel from their sources, then there's a problem in their line, because they're supposed to pretend that these fuel trucks don't even exist. They're not even there.
Yeah.
Because I've had times where I would tell these crew, these guys, you guys can't get fuel here. You guys need to take off. But hey, Sergeant, we're about to run out of fuel. It's 10 degrees out here in the desert. The wind's blowing at 40 miles an hour. We're freezing. We don't want to run out of gas and have cold weather injuries. Like, okay, fill up your tank. I don't want to see you guys here again. You got it? Right it out, Sergeant. We're out of here. They get their fuel disappear. 3-4 days later, I catch the same people at my fuel truck at the fuelers. Now it's like I walk up like, what the fuck, you guys? You think you're trying to take kindness for weakness? Because there ain't no fucking weakness here. I'll be nice to you, but you're taking advantage of me now. So the kindness and the weakness part is fucking, you guys done fucked up. So I would just call it up, report it up, and they get dealt with. And there's a lot of times, because when you're training units out there, the maneuver box are all tracked. They got a GPS tracker on them through the miles system, so I can always tell where they're at. A lot of times these clowns will either unplug their shit, they try and get fuel from the fuelers, or they'll think to be sneaky and they'll wrap their stuff in tinfoil. But the thing is, they don't understand that little vertical antenna on the side. Not only does the system talk to the satellites, but also talks to all the towers that we have spread around the maneuver area on top of mountains that it also talks to. So
it's the augmented system.
So you think you're hiding it from the satellites, but you're not hiding it from the towers. So I'll just get up on the radio and you disappear. I'll just ask for your last ping where you're at, and if I can't find you, I'll get your last ping, and then they got nice big ass expensive telephoto cameras and video cameras on top of these mountains to watch everything, and they can see what the fuck you're doing 20 miles away. Like, oh, there he is. He's on a fueler. Hey, Bronco 15, you need to drive over to fueler number 7. There's a truck over there. Okay, so I gotta pack all my shit up, especially tonight. I'm pissed. You're playing this game at 9, I'm pissed, and I gotta get out my sleeping bag. It's over. Sergeant First Class me is about to get into your ass. And if you're above me, I'm not gonna deal with you. I'll just get on my radio and call up and say, hey, Bronco 6, which is my full bird colonel, I got Captain so-and-so over here stealing fuel. And he doesn't want to get, and Bronco 6 doesn't want to get out of his sleeping bag.
Which makes it even worse.
So he's about to get fucking blown up, and that's when I hang around to watch the fireworks. But if it's legitimate, and soldiers, especially, just privates, and they done fucked up, and they run out of fuel, or about to run out of fuel, and they're about to freeze, or something like that, I got enough pity on them, but I catch them twice, you're fair game for me.
Yeah, again, goes into that whole planning aspect that they're supposed to be working on. So, Jay, I remember you had mentioned it before we went on air. Did you want to make more mention of it since you've already put it out in the live chat?
Oh, the public affairs specialist position I'm applying for. Yeah, just it asked, what relevance do you have, like script writing and things like that. I'm like, and research writing and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, well, I do this on my YouTube channel, so now I've got to go back, update my resume, because I've realized that I haven't actually included any of that information in my resume, and go back and change my document and update my documents in the thing after I post to this. So
yeah, I didn't even think about the applications and how applicable the research and review work that we've been doing on Kanar with Damar the last few episodes of actually would be in that sort of aspect.
Yeah, now I actually have to pull up my channel because I don't remember exactly when I started making, like, not consistent, but more consistent content than I did before. I want to say it's been a little bit over a year, I think. So.
Everybody in the side chat, I do apologize if I rambled on too much.
No, I find it interesting to hear more of the particulars about how the different aspects of different branches would actually train, because I know with the Air Force side is actually very similar to what I dealt with, because, well, you can only do so much with the aircraft, especially from the perspective of the enlisted support side of it. But when it comes to the mechanized infantry side of the Army, you're pretty much the only person I know with the direct connection to it.
Well, you got mechanized. I'm trying to stop talking so long, but you got mechanized infantry divisions. You got infantry division.
Guys, you wouldn't be Geist View if you didn't spend a lot of time.
I know. Sometimes I just ramble on a bit, and nobody stops me, so I just keep going because it brings back old memories of having fun doing shit. But yeah, you got infantry divisions, mechanized infantry divisions, and armored divisions, and airborne divisions, and then you got all the fucking secret squirrel shit that runs around out there too. So. But mechanized infantry division is nothing more than infantry guys with fucking Bradleys and shit. Infantry divisions, all they got is fucking trucks to get around. Airborne divisions are fucking people who jump out of fucking airplanes for some fucking god knows reason. And then you got armor divisions, which still have infantry battalions, but they just really heavy. They're heavy on the fucking armor support, which makes them armor divisions.
Now, Sean, I know with your stuff, you were stuck stateside pretty much for the entirety of everything. How much actual overseas potential was there to what you did with the SATCOM stuff?
Oh, I wasn't SATCOM, I was SAT intelligence. There was 0% chance. Yeah, SATCOM guys, 25 tier, they're everywhere. Because they have to deal with all the uplinks as well. I just dealt with satellite orientations and going over the photographs they took.
Yeah, in Germany, where I was at, you would have been over at not 21st. That when I was talking about that MI company that I had over on the base with us on Germany, they were called the Sly Fox for some reason, but they worked out of a skiff outside of the over by outside the base, and all they did was do a satellite photography. And they always get pissed at us on Sarn's time when we took the Bradleys over by their skiff. We drove back and forth, and the vibrations would fuck up their shit.
A little bit.
They come over here, huh?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but it was fun because we didn't care, and they weren't a part of our chain of command. There's nothing to do about it. And the highest ranking thing they had was a first sergeant. So you yell at our first sergeant, but our first sergeant really didn't give a rat's ass. But we practiced our Bradley gunnery next to their equipment. It's kind of hard to explain where they're at, but by the airfield. But goddamn, it's hard to explain without showing a map and stuff like that. But they had all their satellite shit out there and their skiff and whatnot, and they always told them. I remember one guy, I was on the bus with him, and we're going to Mainz, and he knew who I was because he's ran past each other doing PT. And it's like, so what do you guys do out there, anyways? He's like, if I had to tell you, I would have to kill you. I was like, dude, that's the same shit I fucking tell my sister when she asks me what I do in Germany. So I'll play with that shit. And don't worry, I'm an air defender. I got a classified. I got a top secret security clearance too.
Well, to be fair, if they would have told you they would have had to kill you, they would have just told it first, and they would have assigned somebody to kill you.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, my security clearance was higher than theirs, anyways. But it was that whole need to know shit. But I was just funny. This dude's like, I was on the bus, like, hey man, so what do y'all do out there, anyways? He's like, if I told you I had to kill you, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, you know what, dude, that's the same shit I tell my sister when she asks me what I do over here, also.
It's a need to know basis, and you don't need to know.
Yeah. But the thing is, we go out there and train with the Bradleys, and of course the vibrations of the Bradleys on the ground because we're practicing our gunneries and driving around and having fun, wasting our time. So we're not on the base anymore. We're actually being free.
Yeah. In that case, you were pissing off the 27 Sierra guys because they weren't getting good data streams, but you're pissing off the 25 Sierras because you kept on messing up their alignment to the satellites.
That would be the thing. I don't know who would do was what, but they would be out there in the fence like, hey, first sergeant so-and-so, can you guys take your vehicles over someplace else? Or like, nope, this is our training area. Go check the fucking roster. Yeah, but you're throwing off our whatever. And we're like, we don't care.
Well, it just goes to show that satellites have to be pointed at a very, very specific place to have communications going on, and that's it. You were fucking up. So you're pissed off 25. You're pissed off 25 Sierras.
Yeah, it's the same. I know. I feel the pain when I went to Antarctica and I was doing work and doing RF stuff like that, and I had to work with the satellite tracking shit over at Black Island, and the wind would start coming up and fucking links and fucking data packet loss and all that shit would start coming up, and I'm getting fucking phone calls to go out there to the fucking dome and figure out what the fuck's going on and find out there's like either a hole in the dome or the wind's gotten there somehow and move the fucking dish a little bit so everything's fucking off, so I got to realign everything. It takes forever.
Yeah, the 27s you were pissing off just for the simple fact that they had to wait on data streams. The 25s were the ones that had to go out there and realign everything, so they were the ones getting really pissed.
Yeah, I was E2, E3 private, being a driver, and I really didn't give a rat's ass. I was in my little tank, my little hatch, and ain't nobody can tell me to do anything except my vehicle commander or my first arm.
Yeah. So. See, the whole comms and intel guys, they get a lot of bad rap because we're not out there like towing the load, so to speak. We're just saying, okay, this is where we think a target is. Go out there, blow it up, come back. But guys like you went out there, blew shit up, and came back. So there's a definite unbalancing of respect involved in all that.
Yeah, it was funny with what was it at Fort Lewis? We would go, when we had to go to the field at Fort Lewis, we had to either go to Yakima Training Center or we had to go to NTC because being mechanized, that's where you got to go. And we would always talk shit with you commo guys and your commo battalions. We'd have to go out there and do commo, go to the commo field. And what they fucking do? They go to the fucking baseball diamond on North Fort or Fort Lewis and fucking set up their all your guys' antennas and your all your fucking your dishes, your antennas, your antenna fucking farms around the fucking baseball diamond. And you're like, oh, we're in the field. You ain't in the
trust
fucking
me. Trust me, you guys gave the comms guys shit. So did we.
No, it was just funny because you always hear them in like the defects so they come in. They'd be like, "Oh man, it's beyond the field sucks." And you just look at their patch on the right. So I'm like, "You're the fucking comms guys out there on the fucking baseball diamond, and you guys get to go back home every fucking night. You got your POVs. You don't have to wear your fucking full battle rattle. I don't want to fucking hear about it." That was how I felt about it.
Well, and
let me suck on this coffee a little more for you guys.
well,
Yeah, that's how it was.
and even on the blue side, on the Navy side with that, you have people who would complain about deployments, and then you find out they're either a van opdet or P3 opdet, which the difference is, so the ship's company guys, we're out in the middle of the ocean with no place to go, nothing else to do but get angry and pick on each other. The P3, the VP opdet and van opdet, they're going to a base somewhere and are essentially going from working at their permanent station to doing the same exact job, except for one squadron instead of all of them at a different base in a different country. Getting per diem. Getting per diem on top of it. It's like, what the fuck are you bitching about?
I don't think a lot of people understand that the military in general, as an overall thing, is a very well organized machine. We might rib other parts. Other parts might rib us, but it's very rare when you'll see somebody denigrating somebody either in another branch or another MOS and mean it. Yeah, there's some inter politics going on, but we all understand that without all those parts that work, the military doesn't work at all.
Yeah, unless you're air defense, you got to work with Patriot clowns, and you don't in your SHORAD where you guys work with Stingers. Yeah, it's a whole different. Yeah, that fucking world is a whole lot fucking different. But I get what you're talking about. We hate fucking SHORAD guys, hate fucking Patriot guys. You know we're in the same fucking branch. It's Patriot guys literally invent fucking shit for the stuff to do, and SHORAD actually has to go out and do stuff.
Well, me being Army, I'll pick on the Gavy a lot, just like that. But I understand that they're a respected branch of the military. I just do that because it's just ribbing. It's good fun.
Sibling rivalry.
It's the same. It's the same shit we gave the fucking Navy guys who were in their who were doing the CRAM stuff with us. When we were out at the Navy bases, we got nothing but fucking shit from the Navy guys, just making jokes about Army this and that and Army that. And then we got to, we deployed and they were stuck with the Army guys. It was all fucking reversed. They got all fucking, they got every fucking thing under the phone book of jokes and ripping on the Navy. And
then, of course, you have those thin-skinned, little wusses that actually take offense to the interbranch ribbing.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, grow up, man.
Yeah. Especially, usually the worst people I ever had to deal with those kind of situations was the officer side of the house, where they would get, especially like West Pointers, they would get so fucking butthurt about, something ripped on the Army. Like, come on, sir, just relax. They don't really fucking mean it, and it's fucking funny anyways, and you're a West Pointer, so you get a lot of shit from the ROTC crowd, So,
okay, guys. How many people that you knew that actually were enlisted and eventually went into the officer program? I've only knew in my entire time in the military, I only knew like 4 people that did that, where they went enlisted and then went officer.
Yeah, I think I've had maybe, I can't really top of my head. It'll take me a minute
just
to actually
ballpark it.
Maybe 11 platoon leaders.
I knew about
I just bring that because JM Truth said that he was, when he enlisted for the goal to become an officer. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it like he did, to become an ossifer.
So he was going to try to fucking green the gold option. Yeah, that wasn't going to fucking work.
Yeah.
And even on the Navy side, that's the difference between just calling someone an officer and actually referring to him as a Mustang. Because the Mustangs were the ones who broke away from the pack. Those are your enlisted to commissioning types. And personally, I've ended up either working for or worked with when they were enlisted, half a dozen in the just over 4 years that I wasn't in the in training.
I do a lot
Yeah,
of chiefs. I do a lot of chiefs that went LDO, so I knew quite a few.
Yeah, I know a couple E6s that I worked with in Florida who went LDO to be aviation maintenance officers. And actually, my division officer and one of the QA officers when I was on the Kitty Hawk were both prior enlisted.
My second XO is prior enlisted.
the best the best platoon leaders I ever had were always prior enlisted. The West Pointers and the ROTC cadets that came out, they, I didn't really fucking like working with them. They didn't fucking like listening. But you get the ones who used to be former enlisted who came, went from like E4 to first lieutenant, or sorry, second lieutenant. They knew the game. They knew how it sucked to be on the bottom end of shit. So when they made their decisions, they kind of took that into factor. Of this is gonna fucking suck, but I'm gonna try and make it suck the least amount as fucking possible.
I didn't mind our one. We had one officer who was ROTC. Didn't mind him too much. Sub Force is very, 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 very heavy. Like, Annapolis elitists. Like,
yeah, it's either them or the.
Yeah.
Yeah, you also have the Mustangs that think they're better than everybody that were nukes and that got accepted to a degree program and then come back as officers. Some of them were cool, but you had those few that were just as arrogant little shits as the Annapolis elitists.
Because I played the game with them, I have to respect them because of the rank. It's a gimme. I have to, but to respect them as a person, that was a whole fucking separate ball of wax. If you're a dickhead and you can't make fucking decisions, and I get to babysit you, we're gonna have fucking. Especially if you're my platoon leader, I'm gonna take you behind the fucking connex and we're gonna have some fucking words. I'm still gonna call you yes or no, sir, and if you run a fucking walk away, I have nothing I can do about it. But you're gonna get a fucking earful from me about how you done fucked up, and you're wasting fucking soldiers' time. Because you can't make fucking decisions, and you're in charge to make your fucking decisions, sir. If you don't like it, go talk to the first sergeant, or you go talk to the commander. But I'll talk to him also. Oh. But I got more years of training. More years. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, But usually the best platoon leaders I had were always the green, the gold guys who basically came from like a different branch, say like infantry or something to that effect, infantry or artillery or something like that came over to our side of the house, the air defense, and became lieutenants. So when they made a decision about, okay, we're going to be going out, we got to do this patrol, so I need this many guys and stuff like that. But they would actually think about everything that needs to be happening also with it, not just I need bodies on top of a mountain, go fucking stand on top of a mountain. He would actually think about how long they need to be up there, how long they need to be rotated out, yada yada. But as a platoon sergeant, I had to worry about making sure they're fed. They got both. As a platoon sergeant, we call it beans, bullets, and body bags, the 3 Bs. Make sure they got their food, make sure they got the bullets, and if they get fucking killed, I gotta go do CASEVAC. So.
Positive part was I never actually had to take orders from an O1 or O2. So.
As an E7, 23 years in the Army, I've had how long? It's an E7, and I have 3 platoon leaders as an E7 that passed through me. 2 were air defense, and 1 was an infantry guy that was stuck in our battery before I retired. Or sorry, through our OC team, because he got stuck there, and he wasn't supposed to be with us, but they had nowhere else for him to go because we were air defense, and he was a whole separate branch. But they stuck with us all anyways, which wasn't fun. He didn't fucking want to listen. He wanted to play games his way, and I can't stop him. But I can give him a fucking earful because there's nothing he can do to me. He can't fucking fire me. He can't give me Article 15. He can't fucking write me up. He can't even fuck with my evaluation report because he's not my raider.
Well, working in control, I would take orders from the OOD. OOD was generally an O3 or higher. If there was an O1 or O2 involved, they were qualifying, and they were basically under direct supervision of an O3 at the time. So I never had to worry about an O1 or O2.
But hey guys, I gotta hang it up. I got to start grilling some steaks here for dinner really fast. So I want to be going back and forth.
Later,
Chris,
guys.
what happens behind the comics
Yeah.
stays behind the
All
comics.
right. Yeah, we call back in the day. We call those Connex drills. Or the better one yet. I learned. I'm don't want to go back to the long story again, but I done fucked up in the motor pool on the Bradley. I think I overfilled the engine or something like that. And my squad leader at the time, he's like, I can either write your ass up about this, or we're gonna have a Connex drill. I was like, what the fuck is the Connex drills, huh? He says, well, I'll tell you what. You and me are both going to go into the Connex. I'm going to close the door, and if you want out, you got to go through me. So I got my ass beat, and I learned not to overfill an engine again. But guys, who apologizes for his long stories.
All right, who's going to read this for the audience?
Good night,
I think
everybody.
somebody from the army should.
Hi, guys.
See, well, Sean, that leaves you
What?
reading what's on screen.
Oh, God, you're going to actually make me change windows here. Damn you.
Oh, and for that whole Connex reference, yeah, in the Navy, we had the fan room counseling sessions. Rank don't matter when you walk in there.
Okay, from somebody who doesn't want to be known. Dad in the Army. Comes back from his tour in Iraq. Brought me a fortnight's worth of MREs to eat. 1 whole week into eating nothing but MREs, half the shit so bad it's like an anal apocalypse has set its course for my butthole. Stopped eating MREs for a week. Been over 120 hours since I last shit. Mother and father are concerned. I ask for laxatives. I desperately need them at this point. Dad goes out and buys me an enema. So fucking pissed. Don't understand how to use it. Decide it's time. Go into the big family bathroom, lock the door, sit down, spread my cheeks with my hands, and push. It's not coming out. It's like a fucking howitzer shell trapped between the head space of a plumbing pipe already sewn shut with fecal matter. This becomes a life or death situation. Begin clawing my butthole in a desperate attempt to break the massive turd into segments. At this point, my asshole has stretched to the size of a pickle jar lid. The turd has still not met its time to come. My hands are soon covered in blood, shed from my virgin asshole. I begin crying and swearing at the enormous turd stuck in my ass. Suddenly, almost as if though a dam had burst, my anus literally turns into a wormhole, bringing forth a cacophony of what?
Lovecraftian horrors.
Oh, God. From beyond the veil of human understanding, with a force of 10 million explosions, what could only be described as a warm, liquid bloody fecal matter sprays all over my hands, legs, toilet, and back. I lie devastated in a pool of liquid shit with the bathroom door locked. The smell is unbearable. Dad literally kicks down the door and drags me out. Hospitalized for almost half a month due to my ass left in unrecognizable condition. I spend most of my time shell-shocked, feeling like a victim of the most violent rape ever known to man. And this is why I haven't touched MREs in 3 years.
Oh.
Well, I'm sorry for the orgasm.
Oh, God.
Oh.
I have to see if somebody caught that.
It is... Things like that never surprised me. Yes, it's one of those things. How are MREs intended to do that to you? Is
I
my
think so.
question.
I do believe so.
What do we?
This is that link I sent to you, Jared, on Discord.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. For major, you know, I think I've already watched this.
I thought it was kind of funny, but at the same time, it could be hard to follow if you don't watch. If you haven't watched either series.
Well, speaking of, Team Skeptic may be coming on because he posed quite the question to me in a DM on Discord that I think it would be rather fitting to actually have this discussion publicly, just to kind of whet the palate for tomorrow afternoon. So his question was, is DS9 Season 7 worth watching? I'm 10 episodes in with 15 more to go, and this fucking show is boring the fuck out of me. All the action seems to be over, but I'll keep watching if you say so.
Well, I just so happen to have my Netflix up here. Oh, let's go back and check more episodes. Not actually
He
watch
hasn't
an
found
episode.
he hasn't found the Twinkie episode yet, right?
Tell him about the Twinkie.
Did you know Odo can turn into a Twinkie?
All right.
Jared's favorite episode.
Oh, yeah, that one was. Ugh. All right, so he's 10 episodes in, so he's gotten through the
Here, at
leg
least.
issue, yeah. So, what do we
I'm
have?
sorry, I lost interest in DS9 at the leg issue. That's the specific point where the series took a turn for me, as far as watchability.
That which one?
When Nog had his leg issue.
Oh yeah.
Chimera was interesting enough, but yeah, there is the definite lull here, but 16 was good.
Yeah.
And then you have the end of it, the way everything wraps up between I kind of don't like the way they did it as the 3-parter between Penumbra, Till Death Do Us Part, and Strange Bedfellows. I mean, it seems like they could have streamlined those story arcs a bit into at least a 2-parter. But you do have a lot of the bigger issues starting to ramp up and come to a head again, especially with the whole Ducat and frickin' Kai Wynn issue.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then you get the actual end of the Dominion War coming up, and the whole bit of Kira trying to teach the Cardassians how to be an appropriate insurgent militia force. And then
That I found a nice turn though. I thought that was a nice turn.
yeah, so there are highlights to it, there are aspects to it, but there is a definite lull there in the middle where it's like, what are you doing? I understand you have the new actress in the technically new role of Esri Dax that you kind of have to hurry up and get comfortable with, even though it was the last frickin' season of the show.
Oh yeah.
Should we watch?
Which one? Oh. That,
Maybe do a private showing of that for your patrons and stuff.
you know, I haven't actually watched the entirety of it, even though I've had it on my computer long before it was on Netflix. It was just one of those things that, with the bits and pieces of it that I did watch and get clued in on, it was one of those, how much more is there that is going to be relevant and actually borderline entertaining?
Not much.
But yeah, speaking of the whole MRE thing, what type of person does it take to actually enjoy that sort of
A sociopath.
Chief O'Brien.
that was going to be the next point. Is O'Brien seemed to really relish the field rations. Kind of also makes you, it does also explain why he stuck with Keiko so long when you really look at it, because it does seem like he does kind of hate himself.
Well, he's Irish. Nothing.
I don't know much about.
Potato famines, things
Oh,
like that.
true. Yeah, you kind of get used to where the majority of your cuisine is just whatever you find boiled for about 12 hours. Yeah,
Why did I have to? Why did I have to click on a bunch of bacon for
Bacon.
Chris Catalyst? Although apparently another moderator got it.
I didn't even see it show up as pending on my side. But yeah, that is a good question. Why is it trying to censor bacon?
What did Kevin Bacon do
Because
now?
the bacon is the source of all sin.
But bacon is amazing.
Exactly. It's the source of all sin.
Although I think I don't remember if the bacon god is out there. Let's see if we can summon him by doing that, and then bing, 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 bing. And there is the max bacon.
That's a lot of bacon. Breakfast for everyone.
You know, is there ever a time that is not appropriate for breakfast food?
No.
I'm not thinking of one either.
I just remember World of Warships is getting submarines this next year.
Ooh.
Now the question is, are they going to start out with the early midget subs in World War One level of them, or are they going to give you something usable to begin with?
Turtle. I'll give you the turtle.
Oh God!
All right. So I've logged into another account on Chrome. Let's try this bacon thing out.
Bacon.
Bacon.
It might be considered spam by non-mods, so.
This is true. Let's see what happens.
I'll just do 100. So I posted it. I'm not seeing it on mine.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it on this end yet either.
Huh.
I would even dare say fascinating. But, LRJ88 does have a point. World of Warships has always had submarines. They just start out on the surface.
That is true.
Yeah, still not seeing the mass amount of bacon you sent.
Let's try it again.
Let's see if we can break YouTube.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that was the other thing I mentioned beforehand was the P-score on YouTube that you can't use anymore.
See, I don't think I ever used it to begin with. So what was...
Well, no, it wasn't actually something they advertised to the users. They advertised it to the advertisers.
Oh.
Yeah. Did I just throw a carrot in there by mistake? I did. How dare I?
Okay, you guys have a good night.
Oh, that's what gets you to run away? The carrot?
Nah. Getting late
So-
for me, but thank you.
All right, later, Burns.
All right, so let's preview window. Where is it? Right there. So, as you can see, here's my other channel.
Yeah, I'm in live chat and I'm not seeing it.
I do have it on top chat replay, but that still shouldn't matter. Oh, and they're disappeared when I went to live chat. Am I blocked somehow on your channel?
Shouldn't be. Say something that's not pure emojis.
Let's see. There we go.
No? No,
Huh?
it's there. So, okay, now try it. Now try the bacon.
I think 52 should be enough. There it goes. Weird.
Yeah.
Actually, I had to post text before it would go. That's weird. Must be an anti-spam thing.
That would make sense. YouTube actually getting something right for once.
And of course, I've already closed down all of the goddamn windows about the P-score thing. But I know where to find it. So,
Alright, so what was this P score to begin with?
so on the 29th of October, a group of people put out a document series. I'm going to pull up their video first. I heard about it from Sargon. And actually, I'll pull up YouTube's video on it too. And me and my infinite wisdom didn't tell it to load in a new tab. Because that would be too smart. Okay. So, let's get this loaded up over here. So in the bottom here of this video for channel Optimus, there is the P-score comprehensive guide, the P-score list. And then Medium actually covered it. Wow, interesting. But the doc, which I've already downloaded, they said they will be updating it as well as information's known. It has to do with this video here for Google preferred P-score overview YouTube advertisers. For YouTube advertisers. Posted back on April 10th, 2019. It's basically how they took popularity away from people and put in other analytics into the algorithm. And you used to get a score. The subscribers for each channel, their P score.
Huh.
Now, notice that these top people with P scores have very low, in general, low sub counts compared to like PewDiePie, you know.
Yeah, then you get,
and others. Scroll down to the bottom. Whoop. Too far. Now you're getting into more of these conservative style people that they follow. Including their own people, but you got Andy Worski, Mundane Matt. And this used to show up in the source code of your video. So if you wanted to go and look at it,
you could figure out your own score. Huh.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder, Slazo, Just Destiny, Wonder...
Onision.
Yeah, who cares about him?
Yeah, I know. It's sad that there are channels that are more advertiser friendly than YouTube advertisers. What does that say?
Although, look at the channel right below it, Combat Wombat.
I know. So this is one of the guys that helped with creating this document.
Blowback? Blacks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do they explain what actually goes into the P-score? Because by knowing what actually goes into it, it could actually help a lot of creators.
But that's just it.
Do better.
That's just it. They go into it in this video, and I'll post a link to it in the chat.
Oh, LRJ, are you going to have to post that pork belly porn video that you shared before about how to get the perfect crispy skin from it. No, there is a guy who actually
Yeah, I
used
know.
a couple different methods and everything, and yeah, it kind of makes me want to try it a bit.
I remember correctly, they did take a screenshot. Oh, here's the base metrics: popularity, passion, basically how much the fan base you have,
Engagement, yeah.
protection, how suitable it is for advertisers, the platform, like is it only viewable on large screens like TVs, or is it for smartphones, or do you do it for all platforms? And also focus on how high quality your editing, camera footage, etc. is. So the more money you spend in making your footage, and if it's family friendly, etc., the
Mm-hmm.
higher your P score is.
Okay.
I really wish I had a high quality camera right now because I can actually see the moon from my desk right now. Sorry, I got distracted. Shiny object in the sky.
Yeah,
But
you don't
here's
see
their
those
ideal
often on a
content.
sub.
But these are the things that would make your P score higher. 10-minute video with 45% viewer retention per video. Highly driven fan base. Family friendly. Oh, you're right out of this, Jared.
Little to no. Well, see, that's where this show would be screwed, bar none. We go too
Yeah.
long and we swear too much. Well, what do you know? It's a show run by and endorsed by veterans. Tough shit, Cupcake.
Yeah. This isn't meant for the average person per se.
To be
Per se.
to be fair, the average person can come and actually pick our brains about whatever topic they want. Whether they
Yep.
decide to or not is entirely their choice. It's their prerogative.
So here's where it kind of was in the screenshots. So this is the P score right here, 771.5509, and that's what it was in Canada. This is what the P score was in the U.S. For the UK, for Pyrocynicals, who is from the UK, versus their Canadian one. So very, very interesting information. And then you inspect the element of the page or view page sources, which is what they're showing right here. Control F and type in that or
Or
that, which
DV
they no
rating.
longer allow. Yeah. This is the rating guidelines, basically.
So they pretty much tried to use a similar rating system to what the TV networks are still
Kind of,
doing.
sort of. Yep. And then here's the video is throttled. So
That's it. I just need to start taking video of the cat. That'll fix it.
but yeah.
But at the same time, I would have to really fight the temptation to refer to the cat by his earned moniker.
Hellspawn.
Fluffy little asshole.
Close enough.
But he's a cute, fluffy little asshole.
It's a good thing they're cute.
That really can be said for many, many people and things. Okay, I look over at the live chat and I see just don't touch the mayo. I don't want to know what I missed.
Yeah, I don't either. So yeah, so I spent the better part of the half an hour or so before the show looking into trying to see if I could find it, having heard that you can't. See if maybe there was something like buried in the code. And the average video has almost 15,000 lines of code.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But then again, when you think about it, that's their own. That's just their tagging on the source code, not even the media itself.
Yeah.
And they wonder, and when you really look at it, YouTube, as a subdivision of Google, really doesn't make that much money when you look at it. Or it could just be the financial fuckery games that Google is playing. Who knows?
Yeah. So here now, most of this is as of a couple days ago, is now pretty much irrelevant because what they go into after the 10-minute mark is how to find basically that section that I just showed you,
Mhm.
how to find your P score. But don't you think this would have been some nice information for, I don't know, content creators to have?
Oh,
Maybe not every content creator, but those that are monetized and whatnot.
oh, you mean the ones who might actually be interested in knowing how can I give better content through the filters and everything, and actually understand what YouTube is actually wanting from its content creators? No,
Yep,
why would that ever be a consideration?
exactly. Ooh, I hate this ad on the screen for me right now. LG ultra wide monitor,
Ah,
49 inches.
wow. As a
Yeah, it's meant for, they're displaying it as like an audio creator's monitor. Here, I'll share my screen or window.
It's a bit big for a desk monitor.
Yeah, well, now see, what would be interesting is if you have a monitor like that and you could actually essentially do a virtual split in it,
Yeah.
That would work, yeah.
then have one monitor that can function as essentially two. That to
Although
me would make a lot would
I
be a
could see
lot
you using
more
this with
effective.
I could see you using this with Premiere Pro or After Effects though fairly nicely.
Well, yeah,
Having it wide out like that.
yeah,
As someone with 5 monitors on their desk, I could see where that could be beneficial, yes. For the thing is, I only use like 2, maybe 3 of them when I'm doing personal stuff. When I work, all 5 of them are going. So.
yeah.
Is one labeled who I'm gonna fire today, who's getting written up, who's got this, and then the other two are just like your general everyday workers?
No. One of them's an everyday worker. I got one devoted to communications, so corporate chat system, email.
Yeah. I find it hard going to work because I
phone
only have one
system.
monitor. And it's so annoying.
I've got one devoted to paperwork.
Oh. Oh, that could be ugly.
One devoted to conferences.
GQ's YouTube channel, U.S. Marine breaks down military movies. 1 week ago.
Yeah, yeah, you definitely have to get rid of a lot of the expectations to watch shows like movies and shows that deal with specific topics like that, because there are times where I'll be watching a show and they'll do or say something on screen and it's like, no, that's not how it would work. No, no. Like, even a lot of the medical drama stuff is like, the doctors are not that involved with every single case and every single patient.
I'm not going to play this, but this is the most recent Freedom Tunes.
Can't remember if I watched that one yet or not. Ah, yes, yes, I watched that one.
I love that.
It, how quickly some people jump on certain pieces of information can be astounding at times.
Oh yeah. I'm just waiting. Trump's gonna say that the best sandwich is a leftover turkey sandwich from Thanksgiving with mayo, et cetera, and then somebody's gonna blast him and be like, "No, Miracle Whip's the best." Although I did hear that there's a scientific study out there that proves that men are funnier than women.
Yeah, I saw
I've
the
heard it. I'm
video.
not touting that it's
I,
accurate, but
I saw the video about it, and my only criticism is they needed a larger sample size, but I believe the trend would actually
correlate.
still correlate out.
Yeah. Let's see here. There was another one that I saw today.
But
That
well, but some of the apologetics that they tried to use in it were just weird.
Sometimes studies and trends like that are a bit deceptive because
yes,
people use them for to try to convey things that isn't what it means. Like, yes, Group A could be, let's say, generally better in something than Group B. That does not, however, mean that any random person from Group B therefore is worse than any random person from Group A.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest thing is the study was not intended to say that women are not funny at all. What it was is so the way they actually framed it and the way they actually did it is they took a bunch of images and gave them to their selected source of both equal parts men and women and gave them the task of come up with your funniest caption for these pictures. And then they took an unassociated group and had them rank and determine which ones they thought were funny and which ones they were not. And there was no communication of any sort of identifying factors of who wrote what captions. And it was something like a 2-to-1 ratio, a 2/3 of the captions written by men were deemed as funny, where only 1/3 of those written by women were seen as funny.
where the Sargon did a video today. I think it was today. No, the 27th. Actually, I'm a little behind the times. Study shows centrists on YouTube de-radicalize people. Who wrote this? Barrett. And it was done by an actual university.
Yep.
That wasn't Purdue. Was it Penn State? Maybe. Who's getting mouthy?
That's probably Veda. She's probably barking at the TV.
I heard something.
If
Oh, here
it's
we go.
probably there's either a horse, a dog, any type of animal, or a small child on television. Because those are the usual ones that elicit the barking.
So this is the article that he cites. Penn State's political science department. I knew that sounded right. I am going to. Oh, it's probably got a link to a paywall one, but gonna see if my school's school's got a copy of it yet or not. Yeah, create an account. Paywalls, gotta love them.
Of course.
I'll probably get like the first 5 pages.
Well, wait, hide this message. Let's see how much it actually gives.
It's giving me 38 pages. I mean, for if it started earlier this year, that would be accurate, I would guess.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Supply and demand framework, yeah. Going into the actual history and crux of, because one of the graphs earlier showed how more people are getting what they would determine as their news from that one there.
Yeah.
From a source like YouTube instead of traditional
Mainstream.
outlets.
Well, let's just scroll all the way down to the bottom of it and see if I get everything. Looks like I do. I wonder if I can open it up as a PDF and download it. See? Oh. CJM, this is what a reference page looks like? Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Wait. Was that just JM, or do we also need to point that out to Riley?
This is way beyond his level of education. I expect somebody with a master's from a university like Full Sail to be able to grasp this.
Honestly, I think you could just start a list.
And put all of their names on it?
So let's see, what's this supposed to be? Intensity of engagement ratio comments to views. So skeptic community, which is basically just right of liberals as far as my understanding of how this was supposed to read. This is their engagement, basically.
Okay.
Liberals. Conservatives have dipped and now are starting to go back up.
Yeah.
Actual alt-right. And then alt-light.
Not too far behind.
Yeah. Now, I don't, without like really reading the paragraphs before, I wouldn't know specifically what they were trying to reference there, but I wonder if I go back up to the top, if it'll allow me to. No.
It was looking like looks like it was kind of referencing engagement.
Yeah. Oh, download. Well, let me download. Oh, it's let me download.
Like the number of people.
I'm gonna
open doing like
PDF
views,
make sure I can save it where I want to.
Views to actual comments. Not necessarily comments mean much personally. Yeah.
Choose a different folder. Oh, I was recording my football podcast yesterday, and we had a little bit of a power outage. Not happy, because I record everything to my powered external hard drive.
Oh.
Yeah, and the powered external hard drive is not on the APC.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, the audio file was at least somewhat salvageable.
That was a mistake.
The video, not so much. So, yeah, not happy about that. Especially since.
Go for it.
I was gonna say, especially since my my co-host didn't have time to stick around and reshoot, so to speak.
So you got to get creative with the editing.
Sorta. So what I'm basically just doing is, hey, here's my stand-in version of my co-host. One of the goofiest still frames I could find from one of our videos. Here's our picks that got lost in this video. I have the audio. I really hate doing just a static shot with audio going by. I really hate it.
Oh, you're looking for that one extremely unflattering frame that you can get out of somewhere.
Oh,
exactly.
Oh, what you're gonna have to try to do to see if you can is turn them into the flapping head Canadian type of animation.
That would be funny.
That would be hilarious. Actually, he'd probably laugh at it too. But yeah, the article where you can actually get that document yourself is from the Daily Wire, if you trust such sources. I have yet to have any issue, and
I'm sharing this in the internal chat because this was sent to me by LRJ 88 and just look at and read the opening. What he sent along with it as his tagline is, "You want a research paper with serious repercussions?"
Yeah. Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting.
That one actually deserves a. I actually downloaded an add-on for news sites for Firefox and Chrome called NewsGuard.
Okay.
Daily Wire actually maintains basic standard of credibility and transparency with some exceptions. Regularly corrects or clarifies errors, handles the difference between news and opinion responsibly, and website discloses ownership and financing are all red marks on their grading of the Daily Wire.
Oh, and we have a stream that they actually talked about that paper that he listed, that he gave us that snapshot from. So, wow.
Oh yeah, which one?
Let me.
I'm almost afraid, actually.
No. Don't want that. I want to. See if that works. Yep. Okay. And there's the video going over it.
Oh, Teal Deer?
Yep.
I don't know. Some of his stuff can be questionable.
But judging by the subject matter of this one, it could have some entertainment value.
It could.
But at the same time, I could use this as an opportunity to kind of entice other people because almost
a 3-hour live stream from December 2016.
Oh yeah, that's one of those where if enough people want to go over it and hear my views on it in almost a live reaction type, I think that's something I'll leave to an event that we do on the Discord server in the members and patrons only area, where the channel members and patrons of the channel can actually join in and give their own thoughts and listen into it live in a private interaction that only they have access to.
Speaking of newspapers, let's see what Washington Post gets from NewsGuard now. Especially after their most recent obituary they shared. Oh, they got full check marks on theirs. Let's see, did they actually pull that one down, by the way?
So I'm sorry, Sean, but there is a very particular fact about this next comment from the live chat. From End of the Conspiracy. I want to say that as a Navy vet myself, I want to thank you guys for doing this. I don't get to watch often, but I'm happy when I do. Thanks, guys.
All right, and the conspiracy.
Okay.
What'd you do in the Navy?
Why is that supposed to have importance to me?
Because he is, again, more blue than green.
Oh, good lord! but that again, all the Navy has to stick together.
Hey, who's gonna love us if not ourselves? But it's, wow, 11:20 already, and oh boy.
Yep.
And still waiting to find out what's actually going to be going on with the discussion that's scheduled for well, it's not scheduled at the moment, but trying to figure out what's actually going to be going on with FE Jedi and or others over on Marvel Girls channel. Yes. Basic deck seaman.
Oh,
Um,
the poor bastard.
and also, so are you concerned with the amount of screenshots that Furball took for tomorrow afternoon's show?
Can I at least disclose the number that he took for that to everybody?
The total or individual?
The individual for each one.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. So, if you've been following the Kanar with Damar series, we covered the motion picture 2 episodes ago. Last episode, you guys covered something that I forgot about already, because I was working.
It was the convergence of trouble with tribbles and trials and tribulations.
Yeah, bastards. That's one I really wanted to do too. But this one we're doing Space Seed and the Wrath of Khan. Furball took 162 screenshots for Space Seed, which has a runtime of, I think, 30-something minutes, 40-something minutes total. Because I sat down and watched it a couple times.
Between 40 and 50 minutes runtime, yeah.
Yeah. And then for the Wrath of Khan, he has 533.
Yeah.
NA, we weren't talking about that kind of semen.
But almost 700 screenshots in about 3 hours of footage.
Yeah.
I was a seaman for like what? Let's see, what 1, 2, 4 months.
Technically,
go back and look at the exact dates.
Technically, I was one for 2.
9 months. I did the slow progression.
Oh, I was only considered a seaman during basic training. Once we actually passed.
Wait, if I include recruit and apprentice, I was at about 1.5 years.
I was including recruit and apprentice, so.
Yeah, see, 2 months for me. Basic training only. After that, I was an airman. And then I was only an airman for a year and a half.
After by 4, was it 4 or 5? I have to go look at the exact dates. It's about 4 months. After that, I was a 3rd class. So. I was back in when we had accelerated advancement. So.
After basic, you got upgraded to spunk? No. See, that's something that actually the Navy does that confuses a lot of people. On the enlisted side, your specialty, your rating, actually falls into a family where it actually does affect your actual title when you are an E3 and below, and it also does affect the color of the stripes on your dress uniform. Actually, no. Dress and working uniforms. So, your main division, so you had your pretty much everyone kind of designation, which covered your medical, admin, and other pretty much general Navy and surface and subsurface ratings, which was your actual seamanship. Their stripes were white on the dress blue uniform and navy blue on the white uniforms. Then you get into your constructionmen, which are your CBs. So your construction battalion, all those guys, their stripes were a light, almost powder blue.
Yeah, I was gonna say fairy blue is what I used to give my friend shit for over that. He was a construction electrician.
Yep. And the people who worked in the engine room and your hull repair, your hull tech, your hull repair techs, they were called firemen, and their stripes were red. So your machinist mates, your engineer mates, pretty much the term that they ended up garnering way back in the day was your snipes, your engine snipes. They're all firemen, which had the red rank stripes. And then you have your aviation support side,
I'm trying to. Oh, here we go.
which
I think
were
I have a good.
Yep.
I've got an image for it. Oh, you bastard! Tried to click on the link and it's like, oh, sorry, this page isn't available anymore. So sometimes for those army guys, visual aid is helpful.
Yeah, our rank system in the Navy confuses all the other branches, except the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard's the only one that could figure it out because theirs is
pretty much the
fairly-
same.
pretty much the same thing. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they're pedal pirates for a
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, and then as you can see here, your airmen are the green stripes, which once I was actually allowed to put the actual rank that I had on my dress uniform during towards the end of basic training, I had the green stripes. So I was only technically a seaman apprentice for 6 weeks, an E3 seaman for 2 weeks, and then when I left basic training, I was an airman.
Yep. So I started all the way up here at Seaman Recruit and got all the way up by the time I left in 2005 to Petty Officer second class. And then, if I remember correctly, basically once you make Petty Officer, you're always red anyways until you make your gold stripes.
Yep.
So red on the dress blues, dark navy blue on the whites. So
yeah, I was actually, well, I mean, we were all seaman recruits in boot camp, but I was a seaman recruit by title and a seaman by actual pay because I was back paid for seaman throughout basic.
Yeah.
So
that has got to be the worst uniform I've ever seen.
Why the khaki top? That's my question. Why?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
And they claim that it was the popular vote, which I find bullshit because when that vote was taking place, no one in my command voted for the khaki color.
Nobody in my command voted for it either.
What we think happened is they recognized that, oh, we can just take this top from the Marine Corps and cheapen our acquisition costs. Hey, it's a chief.
and the only two major changes they had while I was in was when they added
Hey, Jerry.
V-neck,
That's what I
when
had.
they added the V-neck sweater and we got the battalion cap. That was about the only two changes they had while I was in. All the other weird stuff happened after I got out.
Be thankful.
Be very thankful.
I still had dungarees.
I was the last boot camp class to get the dungaree uniform.
You know, I didn't have so much of a problem with the utilities because after I got out of all the training classes that I was in, I was in coveralls the rest of the time.
Yeah, that's the thing
Yeah.
is, like, you got the boat. Yeah, we were in poopy suits, so, you know.
Hey, it's me. Only one extra chevron. And just cut that one off.
Which actually, for those who were wondering, when it came to the E4 and above rating badges, yeah, you just bought an E6 one.
And cut off what you didn't need.
Yeah, and trimmed accordingly.
Trimmed and hemmed in just properly. That's why I'm glad I live close to home. I just sent all my stuff to my mom.
I need to find the bar stool with a seatbelt. You know, that's why.
That's interesting.
Ah, the Merchant Marines from the 40s. Interesting.
Yeah. Get rid of the double anchors, and then you would have had in the conspiracies rating. Hey, look at that.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody was a third.
Someone just officially took the Army OCP to replace theirs. Can't remember if it's the Air Force or Navy, but keep hearing it on AFN commercials. Huh.
Oh, interesting. Hey, is that Jared in the alternate future where he stayed in long term?
It's an AT.
Well, I did have the service stripes to match, but that lower warfare mark, I was not air crew.
Like I said, alternate reality.
Eh. Even then, I wouldn't want to be part of air crew. Those guys are fucking crazy.
Aviation boats.
Bolson's mate.
Yep. Now, the sad part is, by looking at it, you can't tell if it was, if he was fuels handling or...
Oh, I used to know that one.
That... It's not...
Darn it.
All right, so they've merged in with the IT, but the lightning bolts used to be RM.
Yeah, Radioman.
But that's not an RM. That's
No,
something else.
the arrow is throwing it off.
I'm trying to remember what it was. Darn it. Because it's one of those, like, obsoleted rates. But I can't remember what it was. Oh.
Hey, it's an MA. Where's Fletcher?
See, what's weird is seeing that, an E3 Master at Arms. Sorry, but in my opinion, the MA rate still should be E4 and above only. Yes. I would give them E4. It used to be you had to make E5 in your rate, then you could transfer over.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out what an E3 MA would do. I mean, it's got to be, yeah. Because they wouldn't have arrest authority.
Yeah, technically they would because they're in a law enforcement capacity.
But Navy, you have to be a Navy NCO to have arrest authority, though.
We play by the same rules for UCMJ. I'm trying to think because the Army, all of our MPs are fucking worthless. But
ooh, I'm tempted to download this.
Basically, the MPs are just another branch of the infantry, and then once in a while they decide to let them be cops.
Yeah, they're a security force, not a police force.
Not even that they're security forces. They are basically another branch of the infantry and do convoy security and it's
post security.
They have completely forgotten their law enforcement mission.
Where am I going to put this one? I'll just put it right here now. Sec nav meme potential. You can't tell me there's not potential for a great meme right there.
Oh, there's tons of potential right there.
Yeah. Hey,
getting
FC.
Close. That's fire controlman. But
yeah,
I said FC.
It dropped the lightning bolts.
I wore that one for... No, I didn't actually wear that because I was in ETA school and I got through the ET part of it, so they let me wear it at that point.
I put that on for boot camp and a couple months afterwards, and that was it.
The Navy just makes shit too
boiler
confusing
tech.
for their ways.
Hey, gas turbine tech.
No, that was boiler.
That was boiler
tech. Oh, yeah. Who got merged in with the gas turbine techs.
Yeah.
I think the Navy rank system kind of comes up like we work on one gigantic big piece of machinery. So basically we're all technical specialists in different parts of the ship.
What the absolute missile tech chief?
In
dress...
in an E6 uniform.
Must be going to captain's mast already ready. Probably Velcro's off and it's got his E6 there. uh, that's just.
So do you guys have sewing on ceremonies when you get promoted?
It's called tacking the crow. What it is you actually show up in the uniform with the new rank, and then you go through the ceremony of actually getting the letter of appointment or frocking letter, depending on.
Can you go back to that other picture?
The torpedo room?
Yeah.
And then what happens is you essentially, it depends on how much you are enjoyed by your command. You may get paraded
that guy
around.
Looks familiar. I think I served with him at one point.
Oh, so
Wish you could see him, but see closer. Wish it was better resolution, but oh well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the traditional ceremony was each person the same rank or above you in your chain of command did a single stitch of your new rank, but that changed to tacking it on through other means, which some people consider hazing.
Oh yeah, the old pinning ceremonies for the army when we wore our rank on our collar.
Yeah.
Now it's a Velcroing ceremony.
Here you go, tack.
Yeah, there's the bar stool with the seatbelt.
Information systems technician. I can't remember what it got merged with.
RM, the most recent one, RM, Radioman, was merged in with it.
Yeah, I know that.
Prior to that...
Storekeeper?
Yes.
There's kind of the equivalent of your
that,
quartermasters.
Yeah, it's supply.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
I just
one of
imagined
mine.
the scene from
There's the other one of mine.
Down Periscope, where the dude's buying a Snickers bar.
And there's mine.
Yeah.
Well, we call quartermasters work on navigation, and what you would call quartermasters, we call storekeepers. We did. I think that changed that though.
Yeah,
they're merged with. I believe they merged now with logistics specialists.
They are now, and before logistics specialists, they were.
Not talking about the DKs.
No, not the dispersing clerks. There is a another one where it had the key crossed with something else. I want to say it was SH. Ship serviceman. That's it.
Yeah.
That's another one that has been subject to merging with other rates because, well, what is it that they actually do?
Culinary specialists.
Nah, they're still
That'd make them feel better. Yeah, exactly. They're still MSs.
Mess and management specialists. Because here's the thing. They changed the name to culinary specialist, but guess what else they also do? They manage the barracks, the housing, both enlisted and officer.
Yep.
Counselor?
NC, your Navy counselors, they deal with re-enlistments, recruiters, career counseling, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Dana Troy.
No,
Deanna.
that would be... unfortunately, that would be a commissioned officer.
Like them and personnel specialists are kind of like the admin type.
And yeoman, don't forget yeoman.
Yeoman, yeah.
And it was funny when
and distribution clerks, and some of those have been merged, I think now. So,
well, so the personnel specialist, it was really funny when that one came out. When they said, "Oh, we're looking at doing this, merging your personnelman and and actually I think it was dispersing or something else that was merged in to make it personnel specialist."
Yeah.
And with it being an administrative rate, what does that make the E3 designation? A seaman. So when you actually write out their rate, it was PS SN. They were always pissing.
So what's funny is they've got journalists here, which has been merged with mass
Mass
communication specialist.
communication specialist. Yeah.
That reminds
So
me,
what is
there's
a
another.
yeoman?
They're your
Officer's
overall,
clerk.
yeah. And on a sub, they kind of fill the role of the officers. They fill the personnel specialist, the dispersing clerk. Not that we get paid in paychecks or cash
They
anymore, but
basically everything that was done by postal clerks, personnel specialists, yeomen, distribution clerks, and all that stuff, even some legalman stuff on a surface ship was done by yeomen on a sub.
Mm.
They basically did
Yep.
all of that. My dad
What
was
is an
actually
ocean
a yeoman.
system?
A what?
I saw ocean system technician. What is an ocean system?
Oh, what? Oh no, that's operations special.
no.
Oh,
He's
that
talking
one.
about
Ocean
this right here.
Oh, that one.
I'm not sure if that's still active.
I don't know. I think it's been merged now. I know they used to deal with like the SOSA stuff.
Yeah, they worked with sonar. Let's see if I do current.
But I think they've been merged into Sonar Tech now, if I'm right.
Yeah, this smaller list looks much more.
Let's see. You said ocean. Yeah, it's no longer there.
Keep going over.
Best rate in the name.
Now, keep in mind,
It's the All Hands magazine. It is
Yeah.
literally done by these guys. Of course, they're gonna say they're the best.
and they also
Yeah, the ocean system technician dealt with the SOSIS type stuff, sound surveillance system like we used in the North Atlantic.
so
More
they
Pacific
pretty
and
much
stuff
got
like that.
Yeah, they
And
pretty
they
much
got merged with
in.
Sonar Tech. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got merged to Sonar Tech on October 1st, 1998.
So hang on. So those last three right there, your airmen, firemen, seamen, those are your undesignated basic E3 below is going to be assigned to do anything type of mark.
Those are the badges that people went to AT Land got, if I remember right.
Yeah, so basically you went through basic training. You were not slated for an A school. You went to a 2 to 3 week school to get one of those 3 badges, and then you went out to a boat.
Yeah, Mr. Thrive and Survive would have had the SN.
Yep.
Why is that?
He was an undesignated deck seaman when he went to the JFK.
Just because you have one or the other of these, or one of any of these, doesn't mean you couldn't strike another rate outside of that field if you didn't like what you were doing.
Yeah, actually, when I went through A school, we had a fleet returnee who was in A school as an AT3, as a third class, because he was an undesignated airman out in the fleet. He took the test for the AT third class rate, made it, and then when they were able to get him to go to school, he showed up as an E4 with the rating, but still had to go through the school in order to continue his career beyond the set of orders that he was initially on. He ended up he actually ended up making second class while we were in school. So he showed up to school in E4, he left in E5.
This is your SOSA guys right here.
Yeah, no. The warfare designation for it, yeah.
The best one. The first one.
Yep.
What the fuck?
What? Which one?
Basic parachutist.
Oh god. My nephew's working on getting this as a
FMF.
corpsman for the reserves.
Hmm.
One of the guys was in boot
I
camp.
would love to have
with
gone
did
this
that.
one.
Oh, the deep submergence. So
Yeah.
how often are enlisted personnel on something that would actually warrant the deep submergence?
Today, never.
That's
Very,
what I
very
thought.
rarely.
Well,
no,
the
no,
one-
'cause-
On one of those
well, here's
badges
the
at
thing.
the bottom soon.
Here's the thing. If I were to have gone and worked on any of the DSRVs as an AVT, whether it's for their charts or whether it's for their interior communications, the battery setup, all that stuff, I would get the deep submergence pin regardless whether I go out to sea and submerge with it or not.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering is how would you go about getting it, because the actual crew of the DSRVs are what, 3 people?
They used to see that a little bit more back when NR1 was around, but ever since NR1 went away, it's gotten a
Yeah.
lot.
So this is also known as the chief of the boat pin as well, even though they don't show it.
Yeah. Well, and
Hopefully, I'll be working on two of those badges right in the middle.
I mean that one and that one.
No,
No,
the
there
Office
are
of the
some.
Secretary-
I think there were
Office
some
of the
bad.
Secretary of Defense and the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
Oh,
Depends
Over
on
in
which
that
team
chief
I
of
end
the-
up on.
Oh, I think there was a missing. I think there was actually some missing chief of the boat badges there because let me check. Go back.
yeah, this one's
Yep. Technically, there's some missing. Nope, never mind. No, they're still there. It's still missing though, because
The
technically
senior
you can
chief.
actually have a badge like the Command Master Chief Petty Officer, the command one at least, that has 1 star instead of 2, because not all cobs necessarily are Master Chief Petty Officers.
right.
They can be senior chiefs as well. So,
Yep.
and there is one like that has 1 star.
I could have actually had this
Which one are you pointing at?
Craft
the
Master.
Craftmaster,
Craftsmaster again.
because one of the shore duties was to be assigned to the Marine Expeditionary Forces as an LCAC navigator. So I would have been in charge of
So
that.
Leon has asked, how does it work as a naval parachutist, jumping off ships? No, we actually have expeditionary forces that are jump qualified in the Navy. They're part of the special warfare.
When did this one come out?
That one's been around for a while.
What
How
is
come
it
I never got
for?
it?
Uh,
Read what it says, Jared.
Yeah, nuclear. Yeah, what? How would you get that? What is the criteria for that one?
I have no clue.
I'm gonna guess it's probably gonna be an MA that has a TS security clearance to actually pull security on the facilities.
yeah, that's actually usually people with that actually are working from actually the actual like
Storage
weapons
facility.
depots where the stuff's stored at. Yeah.
What is a boomer if not a giant depot?
Yeah. Well,
It's a floating depot.
practically yes, but in the technical sense of how the Navy used the term, it isn't. So.
Going over all these is kind of fun, actually. I thought about going back in and doing some information stuff, but glad I didn't.
I've been seeing a lot of commercials on AFN for Navy ships and stuff like that, talking to the captain or the commander, and it got me thinking. So a destroyer, how many crew are on your average destroyer?
About 100 or so, I'd say.
I think about 200-300 are in that range.
No, a destroyer.
200 and something, I think.
A destroyer is 200 and change. A frigate
Yeah.
is under 200.
Well, there are no
and then
frigates, but
what,
anymore,
what
at
is the
least.
grade of the CO for both of those boats?
Usually they're 05s.
Yeah, typically 05.
So pitting Army against Navy as a Navy E5 or 05 and an Army 05. Got a battalion commander for an infantry battalion with 500 ground troops that have the ability to invade a foreign country. Or you have a Navy 05 that's in charge of 150 guys, but a fucking boat.
Well, keep in mind also, an 05 can also be the commander of an aviation squadron.
And also the commander of a
thinking...
nuclear weapons platform, such as a ballistic missile submarine that might potentially have those weapons or not.
Fast attack subs, goobers have
rights, which is more badass, the guy that has 3 times the ground forces or the guy that has a boat?
I say the guy that has the boat with the big boomsticks on it.
I think I would agree with you.
Now these guys here, even though this is meant for more of like your actual, like
That was
hunter,
World War II. Yeah.
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 Well, they if in wartime and they were doing something similar to that, like launching seals and things like that, I believe they would still get a combat patrol for
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
technically, you still could get a combat patrol pin if we did them.
Yes.
Like
Not
it hasn't gone away. All the qualifications are still there. It's just no one's actually deployed in
has
the
had to meet them.
right.
yeah,
Exactly.
nobody's met that. But
I got close a couple times, but not.
but even the captain of just a regular fast attack sub that has tomahawks is still a much more of a badass than your O5 in the army.
He's got more people though.
Excuses. Wait, what was that?
Bottom middle ring.
But you see the O5 in the Navy's, you know, he's directly in control of like a few $1 billion worth of government equipment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Oh, those
He has
are
the
some
keys to
old-
boat.
Oh, wait. Zoom
you know
in.
what?
We might be able to.
If anything goes wrong on that boat, he takes the blame for it. Oh, there it is.
Radarman.
What is it? Yeah, there it is.
Oh, what happened to the John McCain a couple years ago? Because I keep seeing commercials that it's finally being put back out to sea.
It ran aground.
No, it didn't run aground. It got caught in a collision at sea.
Oh, that's
it was
right.
one of the deadly ones.
Oh, that's right. It was one of the ones that had the collision just south of Japan.
Yeah. John S.
Because if something goes wrong on a boat, even if the
Nope,
CO
McCain.
wasn't directly to blame for it,
Yeah, I know. I saw
he's
that.
going to lose his job. It's just that simple.
2 C's. Yep.
Not a job I would enjoy, I don't think.
Ow.
That. Yeah, that was one of the boats that used to be in Yokosuka.
I think it's still there. Or being put back to sea there.
It's a ship carrying a ship.
Yep.
So does that make this a boat now?
Technically,
That's
it
the
would
technical
fit.
definition.
It would fit the term.
To be fair, if you could build a ship large enough, anything else becomes a boat.
Yeah, that's sitting pretty low in the water there. I can't imagine why.
Look at those bilge pumps working.
Yeah. Let's look up the Fitzgerald now.
The Edmund Fitzgerald?
No,
They wrote a song about that.
I know they did.
And because of where that went down, it is surprisingly intact.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the one where the CEO was in bed when this happened, and he's lucky to have been alive. Well, his career's not lucky that he survived, but
How did that happen?
another collision. At sea.
Still, how?
Wasn't that at night?
Yeah, both of them were at night. Well, one at night, one early in the morning, but still, same thing.
Low light, yeah.
This one, the CIC and the officer of the deck were not talking correctly about it, and the other ship that they were trying to communicate with, was set on autopilot and just kind of running its course, out waiting to go in. So, the Navy ship had the obligation to maneuver out of the way, and they didn't. They weren't paying attention, weren't communicating with each other correctly, and that's how this collision happened.
Seems like that would be something that's easy to avoid.
That's an interesting.
One would think.
I wish I had all the PowerPoints of all the different collisions that we had to go over. Oh, let's see. What was it? The USS Greenville, I think it was.
The one with the Japanese
The
fishing
emergency
boat.
service and the fishing boat.
Yeah, that was the Greenville. She was actually a PCU list that was on my list of boats I could have gone to when I was getting out of sea school.
The Greenville wasn't damaged too much, though, was it?
No.
Not too bad, no.
The
Surprising.
Greenville sail was one of the ones that was fitted for ice packs, so it was a little bit more reinforced.
I remember it.
Yeah,
That
actually,
happened when I was in
all
Hawaii.
the Flight 3 boats were designed to get to surface the ice. So
When was this?
that was like
90. What was it? 99, 2000, something like that.
somewhere around there. I don't remember.
I got to Hawaii in 02, and I don't remember if it happened right before that or while I was there.
Well, this is an interesting little graphic to show how it happened.
Yeah, let's go ahead and make it so it's a little more legible.
Like that?
Yeah.
February 01 is when it.
Okay, so that was about right before I got there, a year before I got there.
Oh, so normal periscope depth, high periscope depth, with the swells that they were experiencing, they didn't have line of sight to the ship because they were at normal periscope depth instead of right.
What's the sea state?
Yeah.
I would say that's probably sea state 3 with 8-foot swells, if I remember correctly.
And I'm assuming they launched a flare, even though they don't say it. So
Well, this pretty much ended all Tiger cruises, along with 9/11 happening 7 months later.
No, they still do Tiger cruises on surface
Oh.
ships.
on the subs, they didn't. Hey, look at that. That's the scrape.
And it downed the ship. That's.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it sunk the Japanese ship. So
Well, I might have been able to see that from if I were in Hawaii at the time, staying at the hotel I was in, from my mother-in-law's hotel room. I might have been able to see that happening had I been there at the time. What's another one?
I know another
Where's the-
submarine collection was the USS Jacksonville. That was in like 95, 96, I think.
What was the one that crushed the nose cone?
That's the San Francisco.
Yeah, that's San Francisco. Yeah.
Uh,
That was running aground as opposed to a collision, though.
Oh, well, which
Isn't it
one do
really
we want to
considered
pick
running
there?
around when it's just the nose?
Anytime
Well,
you hit
that's where the sonar
land.
sphere is. There's a lot of fancy equipment.
So, Tech, do we want the 82 or do we want the 2012?
Oh, there's been two.
Oh.
Well, no, there was one in the mid 90s.
Let's just see what it has. You're sending me a lot of stuff there, Jared. What are you sending me?
Only two of them.
Yeah,
That
May
we can
May
get to after.
1996. So
So there's been. Oh, jeez. Can your.
here's the article for the 96 one.
All right.
I don't know if there's any pictures though.
Well, Well done, China. You have aircraft carrier now. You want to join our club?
But we have a few carriers.
It's just a few, and they're all larger than yours.
I just watched a YouTube video about the difference between the American and British carriers. I think it was the part of it was talking why the British haven't gone.
Was it Curiosity
nuclear-
or was it Curious Droid?
I think so. He's talking about nuclear power.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no pictures.
Yeah.
Tap
I know the
camera.
COXO lost his job. Both lost their job on that one.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
So the XO was primary to blame. And one poor lieutenant ended up with like an admin separation. Because he was just, I mean, he had to go through counseling. He came down from the sail. He had green paint on his hands from the Saudi container ship. Because he actually like touched the ship. Because he was up in the sail at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, he
That's traumatizing, just to say the least.
Wow.
Is this the one you were talking about there, Furball?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that became a Frankenship after.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you go nose first into a underwater seamount at Flank Bell.
Didn't a couple people die?
One person did, due to his injuries from what happens when the inertial dampeners don't kick in.
they got someone else's bow, if I remember right. I don't remember who it was. So.
The Miami.
Yeah,
because this was right around the time of.
I hear the interior submarines are pretty hard.
Actually, slightly.
Actually, we're not really that hard, but.
No, he's talking about the equipment that we can bounce off of when we're playing the human pinball.
Oh, you'll like this, Jared. Jared.
Okay.
P-Mars has made a fake Flat Earth Aussie Jesus account on Discord to keep trolling me on Sideman Dan's server.
Oh, cute.
Aww.
Now, mind you, I've got Flat Earth Aussie Jesus on like 8 of the Discord servers that I'm on.
Yeah, she got the bow.
Yeah,
she got the bow. She got the bow of the USS Honolulu.
Yeah.
So you can easily tell just by the number alone which one's the real one.
Oh God! Here's his reason for saying that he's not P-Mars. Nah, my account was closed and I can't get back in. Even my laptop no longer supports Discord in any way, and I don't have two-factor authentication. Flat Earth Aussie Jesus couldn't spell two-factor authentication.
Yeah, he wouldn't even know what that is.
So yeah, and he uses the P-Mars nickname for me, Huff and Pufford. Yeah, it's P-Mars.
Yeah. Okay, Patrick. Did they pull that up from the seamount?
I don't know.
Looks like pieces of the cone on the front.
Yeah.
Because it's all composite fiber stuff that they use in the dome.
Oh, what roles do I have on his server?
You know, they don't that the nose, the quote unquote nose, the bow of that boat isn't actually metal. So.
Well, yeah, it kind of would be kind of
wouldn't be beneficial to these. Yeah, it wouldn't be beneficial to these sonars.
Nope, I don't have any roles there.
There's an old boat for you there, Tech.
Patrick.
What was that one?
The
Can't spell authentication.
Was that
no screw on her anymore.
Was it a 688 or?
Yeah.
Flight 1. Looks like.
Yeah, one of the last ones.
Oh, Sean, you have another correction. Ross Thatcher wouldn't be able to use the proper spelling of two either.
The flight ones always stick out because they're, if you like look at them, the bow sticks up out of the water significantly more than the rest of the boats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the skipjack in that manner.
Yeah.
The Flight 2s and Flight 3s have VLS system, which gives a little bit more mass in the front.
I prefer mass in the trunk.
Whee! Throw the lines over.
Yeah, they had a few of their own grounding
701.
issues.
It seems to be common. Almost a little too common.
Oh, USS Hartford.
Oh, God.
Do you remember seeing that sail?
Oh! How the hell did they manage that?
They hit a tanker.
That could have quickly sunk the ship, I would imagine.
Yeah, they surface transited the whole way back. For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of hull penetrations in that area, so I don't even want to think about what issues that would bring.
Now, where is that it's getting that sort of algae buildup right around the...
If I remember correctly, it's an East Coast boat, and it was sent up to...
Oh, sent up to Kittery. Yeah, that explains it.
There's also, I mean, depending how it going, if she's sitting too far in the water, that could be an issue because they'll put a coating on the boat below the water line that's kind of like algae resistant.
Mm-hmm.
But if she sits too low in the water, then algae will develop in that stripe.
So
generally, algae isn't an issue when you're actually deployed and submerged, but when you're sitting in port, it becomes...
if I remember correctly, that's all the further they could open the aft LET.
Ooh.
I don't think they're getting any after that collision.
No, is that like the you're talking about? That's like the engineering section one.
Yeah.
Well, if it did that, I wonder what I wonder about the forward one then, because that's even closer to the sail. Could they even open?
I hate low-res photos like that.
Yeah, they're all pretty much useless.
Oh, it seems like Average Joe is actually familiar with that one quite a bit. He's given a bit of his own commentary out there. Oh, that's why a friend of his was driving the boat. One of the drivers of the boat at the time on the Hartford.
Oh no, he wasn't a driver. He was in maneuvering.
Oh, he was in maneuvering.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think of. Yeah, I wouldn't even want to think about the hatch actually going up to the bridge.
Yeah. Those 688s, if they're as small as you guys claim they are, I'm sure the helmsman is probably sitting like almost right under the hatch.
Yeah, pretty much. If you were at helm, if you stood up, you take one step to your right and 2 steps forward, you would be right under the trunk going up into the bridge.
So you guys were actually after the hatch. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the bridge hatch.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. On the
just
Ohio,
slightly. I mean, it's the bridge hatch is just like forward of control. I mean, it's still in control, like you're actually
It's the
in
forward
control
edge
where
of
the
it.
hatch is, but it's the forward edge of it. Yeah.
This is what they did to stabilize it while they were transiting back over the surface.
Jeez.
Because I think they went to the UK or France for
Initial
emergency.
repair.
Because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you go up and look there. I mean, if you see where the periscopes are, look up at the top.
Yeah.
Go straight down. I mean, that's where control's at.
Yeah. On an Ohio, we're just like helmsman's like right here. So
The our control room actually runs a little bit aft of the sail.
let's see. Is it wrong that we're actually entertained by doing this?
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's fascinating to see how much.
Yeah, this is where the collision
take up-
happened.
Oh,
I'm thinking they went to
they might have gone to Bahrain first. Then
yeah.
Let me fix that so I don't bug you guys.
Let's see. Any other collisions or groundings you can think of? Oh, let's see if they got any US. I wonder if they have any images of the fire other than this one.
Oh, the fire that happened that decommissioned a ship.
Yeah. Do Right Productions guy. He QM on there. Or Navi T, I should say.
That was the Miami, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, it was the Miami.
Was like the only Flight 3 to be decommissioned.
Yeah.
And it was because of the extent of damage caused by the guy.
Yeah.
Well,
all because
hull
they didn't want to be at
insulation
work.
fire. Hull insulation fire isn't nice.
I like the motto.
That shit burns hot.
I like the motto though for the boat.
Wow. Wow.
What?
That's not the Miami.
Just look at the.
Oh yeah, I was living out this way when it happened.
I'm not sure how much actual external stuff would look like on it, as far as issues with it, because pretty much it was it was just in dry dock for refit stuff. So
yeah,
there was no like external damage going on with it. So I'm not sure if like pictures. You're not going to see pictures of the insides.
No.
No, because I was hoping to see something, but I wasn't expecting.
Oof. So apparently the ladders coming out of the forward torpedo room melted.
Sounds about right.
Yikes. Oh yeah, and then you have.
I guess they're talking about that ladder between. There's a ladder that goes up near the SK shack, because the SK shack's actually forward of the torpedo room.
Oh, what was the
On Flight 3?
What was the old diesel boat that caught fire during just before or after the Cuban Missile Crisis? The battery caught fire.
Well, that wasn't just afterwards. That was in the early.
Oh
80s.
no, that was the 80s, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the USS Bonefish.
We were still operating diesel boats back then?
Yeah, we had
Up until
3.
the mid-90s.
Yeah, we had 3.
Because one of the yeomen on my boat actually, his first boat was the Poggy, which was still a diesel boat.
One of my A school instructors was on the Bonefish during the fire.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bonefish. There was that was don't know if you remember the Barbell class, because she was one of the 3 Barbell classes. They were like the last diesel boats we ever.
Yeah, it had the teardrop hull and everything.
Yeah.
That instead of being a nuclear powered boat, she was a diesel power, but still had the same profile.
Well, she was basically like the prototype for that teardrop was the Albacore, and the Barbell class was the
next
kind
one.
of the production version of the Albacore design.
Actually,
she was commissioned the same time the was it the Skipjacks were?
Probably. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember having to go through books and other sources for when I first started looking into this stuff pre-internet.
Sucked to have been those guys.
Oh.
I guess apparently, according to recent studies of the sonar data and everything for the Falklands, the Belgrano was well, I won't say well outside, but was clearly outside the exclusion zone when the shots were fired.
Bad intel. 10.
Well, in a submarine, you only get so much intel, and you're if you're using sonar, it's really a best guess unless you're using active.
Yeah. Which gives away your position, which is why it's generally...
We never used active once, and like any type of even
prepping for tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Even in exercises, we never used active. We always were passive. Active's just sitting there going, "Hey, we're here."
Oh, and apparently when you think about it, that British submarine was the only nuclear-powered submarine to actually fire torpedoes in anger.
Yep.
Torpedoes, mind you.
They'll be here on Tuesday.
Oh, you know what? I think at some point we're going to have to reschedule a Canar with Damar to a Tuesday just to have an excuse to do that joke.
Oh, yes. Just let me know. I will request.
Actually, no. Because I know we're eventually going to get to that movie, and that will be the running joke of the episode.
So I find this funny even more because the half of the boat I was on, we had a lot of experimental stuff aboard that was like partially installed, and it was always like that. We had some wild stuff that just never went anywhere. We had dihedral launchers.
Okay.
We actually had like these decoy shots and stuff we could fire out of 5-inch launchers that were built into the dihedrals in the aft. It was all
thug for life.
Hey, Verbal, do you got enough tribbles yet?
Ooh. Oh, okay. So here is a good question from the chat from Leon. How does it work on submarines? Who gets trained to do what and told how to do things outside of their postings in case of accidents?
Everyone.
There is a reason why when you are assigned to a submarine, your first job is to get your warfare pin because...
You're useless.
You're considered useless until you qualify.
Nub.
Oxygen stealer.
Non-useful body. Nub.
Yeah, whereas on a surface ship, you can... focus. You can work as your actual primary posting and work on the warfare stuff on the side, because the warfare stuff doesn't actually put you towards a specific additional role. That's where being a part of a fire team, the medical response team, or a repair locker comes in.
So this was Star Trek: The Next Generation's nub until about season 5 or 6.
And she actually accepts that part of it was because of herself, which I found
Yep.
surprising.
Who let her get that far, Dink?
Well,
That's what I want to know.
Well, think about it. So she was not used to dealing with a writer's room the way a couple of the other actors were. And rather than building that relationship with the writer's room, like Frakes and Dorn and a few others did, she had less input into things about her character until she realized, wait a minute, you guys are always talking with the writers about your characters and having input on the script. Well, shit, why haven't I been doing that?
So how long does it take to go through? I'm assuming the ship's
qual
quals.
period.
We had 9 months. That was our limit that we had. It was at least 9 months. After that, you get dank and you start going into disciplinary stuff. But 9 months was the upper limit for us. So.
With the boomers, we had a year because we only had the boat for 6 months at a time, or 3 months at a time, 6 months a year. But community wide, it was anywhere from a year to 18 months total. If you weren't qualified by the 18th month point, you were shipped back up to the surface fleet and continued out your contract there. And if you signed up for one of the advanced computer fields, you just got moved up to the equivalent of the surface rate for that. So
yeah, there was no limit for getting the warfare pin on the surface side and aviation side. It really depended on how quickly you wanted to advance, because good luck making E7 without a warfare pin at all. I think I've seen one person like that ever. It got to the point where when I was on my way out, good luck making E6 without at least your primary.
I'm just reminded of my tweet from this from Wednesday when I was talking about watching Space Seed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I did mine. I did my sub calls in about 7 months.
I did mine in 11.
So
to be fair, however, within 4 months of me getting to the boat, we went on our first 6 month bed cruise. So,
oh, you had plenty of time to study.
Yeah. Well, and so here's the other thing to think about, though, too. I went to a shore facility first, so I didn't even step foot on the boat as someone who could start working for my warfare until I was already at year 3 out of my 6 years in, when I got to Japan. And even then, I had to go through and finish up my 3M and a couple other ship-required qualifications before I could even start working on the warfare. Now, add on top of...
I was just thinking, where did I put my qual card?
Oh, and now add on top of it that I also was the production supervisor of my shop from damn near day one of being there. Yeah, I didn't get my warfare pins until the end of my time on the Kitty Hawk, and I got both of them rapid fire, because there's enough of a crossover between the aviation warfare and surface warfare for a carrier that here's the nice thing about it. You only have to requal on your primary. You also so the way it works for surface side, especially, you are on an aircraft carrier, you're able to get both the aviation and surface warfare pins for that platform. Because I was an aviation rate, I had to get the aviation one completed first before I could officially work on the secondary. Excuse me. So it took.
Accurate.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, yeah. That's essentially what they alluded to with the end of the series.
Yep.
Hey, Jared, what do you think of my background for tomorrow?
That's a place to start.
Well, that's the place to start. And then, what about?
Nice. There we go. Now you got the getting a little bit of the green wash in the back, but
Yeah.
There we go.
That's better. But
We had 9 months on a fast attack, and it was but we went out a lot more often. And usually, what catches you with the subquals, especially in the initial part, is you have to qualify at least 2 at-sea watch stations, and in pretty much every at-sea watch station, some of the qual requires you being supervised on that watch during particular drills or casualty drills. So, they have to be doing that drill in order to get that sign off here and there. So it might be like standing helmsman during a test of the emergency blow system.
Yeah. Here you go, Jared. we could substitute either Saga for Kelvin timeline or Discovery.
Oh, either, both, either way, they're fucked. But so when it comes to the air warfare pin as my situation, I had to do all my walkthroughs and everything around what was actually going on in the shop. Because, again, I was a production supervisor. I was one of only a couple CDIs. I had to be very diligent about my scheduling of the observations and walkthroughs and getting the signatures. But there was enough of a study crossover between that after I got my airpin. It only took me a couple months to get my surface after. But the way it works there is you go through, you get the book signed off. Your book has to be signed off in order for you to schedule taking the written test. You have to pass the written test with a score of 80 or higher, and then you go to what's called a board, where you and a couple others actually sit there and answer questions from material in the book from subject matter experts, which are typically an E7 in the department that signed off in that area.
Wait, a couple other people, like you had help in your board?
No, well, technically, but not exactly. So it wasn't one person per board, because keep in mind, we're a ship with the air wing of 5,000.
Entirely.
So when they would do the board, it would be anywhere from 3 to 5 people actively taking the board at once. So it's one of those, this is where it helped you. If you were sitting in the middle, they would always start at one side and work across the list. So if the person to either side of you didn't get the question, or it didn't get to answer the question during the board, you had a chance to essentially steal that question and get done quicker before the others. So yeah, I was a greedy son of a bitch when it came to that. When I found out that's how it worked, I was the second person done with the board because there were questions that others weren't answering that I was able to answer.
I had six or seven lookups for my board. And
I had 2, and I was able to do them after they concluded the board. And when I got back, they were like, yeah, no, we could tell you knew your shit. We just wanted you out of there to actually hammer them more. Like, you bastards.
Subqual is pretty grueling because you pretty much know the workings of every ship system bow to stern. So
with the exception of like full understanding of how the reactor works, you have the basics. So if
yeah, I'm not saying
an emergency happened and you have to go back there and work, you can at least help keep things running back there.
You know where all the major valves are and where to shut them off. Yes.
Well,
it's not just your work area. It's pretty much everybody else's work area.
yeah. So wait. Go on. Go back one. I got a question. Does Ripley not count?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, and the only one to fucking survive. I just saw a
Multiple
meme
times?
on that earlier this week.
Average Joe 11. I forgot what the snorkel was called. That was my lookup.
Let's see.
I don't even remember with the Jerry curl. But all right, guys. So we have been going for over 3.5 hours now. I need to get some sleep because I actually have an appointment at 10 in the morning to get to. Yay! Oh God, the good old captain's log. So,
not the one from Star Trek V.
No, that entire movie was the log.
Yeah, because the D was surprisingly large.
All right. So for those who are unaware, yes, we have a Patreon. Yes, we have membership. And yes, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to end up doing something on the Discord server just for members and patrons. So if you're interested in joining in on the fun, well, there's a button down below on how to take care of that.
Just compare the sizes, not necessarily the height, but the volume.
In the meantime, we will be back on air in in 15.5 hours for Kanar with Damar, where, yes, we will be talking about Space Seed for only 15 minutes, guys. You got that?
3 hours. Got it.
Hold the bitches.
No. So we're going over Space Seed as a precursor to then factor in as background to the Wrath of Khan. So
best Star Trek movies ever, The Wrath of Khan.
I right there with you.
You're not going to get much of an argument from any true Trek fan. So
true.
So
the radar, sir. It appears.
Sorry. I gotta get the Tuvok one there.
I lost the bleeps and the creeps.
Oh, no, I have that
what? And what?
Let me double check.
I lost the bleeps. I lost the bleeps.
How many
I lost the creeps.
screenshots
What?
do I have?
Oh, we already covered that, Furball.
Yeah, 162 screenshots of Space Seed and 533 of Khan!
Yeah, we already covered that.
Yeah,
you're going to have to keep me on time.
I will do my best.
Glad it's only week 1 in my class.
And I think that I have found a workaround to not have to worry about the PC Master Race problems.
Yay. Chris,
you bought a PC? No.
Chris Katsolis, is that in movie night time? Oh no, when I say that I want to keep the Kanar with Damar episodes to 2-hour-ish runtime, I mean it.
Yeah, we can always do a part 2 the next time.
Well, here's the thing. Until we get to a movie that requires a real deep dive like that, like let's admit it, there was a lot of visual porn in the motion picture.
Yes,
but there's a lot wrong with Star Trek V, so I expect us to take a while on that one.
5 is going to have a lot of criticism to it. Generations.
I'll have to restock my booze.
X-76?
Oh, yeah. Generations is going to have its issues.
Nemesis.
First Contact is even going to have a few, too, because we got some talking points from that to go over. But, yeah, there is going to be a lot to come from that series over time, so stay tuned. And until then...
Just wait till we get Kelvin.
Oh, God. We're still debating on that one. Because keep in mind, we still have this all of the series and particular episodes from there that we could wrestle in there first, just so we don't have to deal with Discovery or Kelvin. How about that? In the meantime,
I've already got my pre-order for season 2.
For those who want to be a part of a number of the conversations that take place about these subjects and more, look at that, Nightbot. He has given you the link to the Discord server, which guess what? If you're a channel member or a patron, you get special access to a part of that Discord server where there's a video that we just maybe end up talking about as an off-air live event just for members and patrons. So if you want to be a part of that type of content and that type of material, and also just go ahead and take a look at the other perks that comes with a membership, because we can only get the true best real live bacon emoji if we get more people to join the membership. So until next time, we will see all of you later.
Later.
Later.